Hi y'all, good morning. Let's get after it. We got fish to catch today. We're going after catfish and some carp and maybe some buffalo too, all at the same time in the same place. So I'm gonna stick y'all in the chest here. We're gonna get baited up and get after it. So I'm gonna put on some cut bait first. I may end up regretting this today, but by gosh, we're gonna try it. So I'm in a very small, narrow creek that feeds into the main river channel here. Regular viewers saw me fish this spot recently. Got some carp, got some buffalo, got some catfish, but wasn't trying to catch catfish. They were bycatches, and I got one that was a pretty nice fun sizer. So I said, you know what, today, I don't normally like fishing shallow water for cats. I know a lot of people do. I personally don't, just because of the turtle and the gar problems. You just get eat up, get your baits stripped off your hooks. But I said, you know what, with that fish that we got in here the last time, I said I want to bring some cut bait out and let's just try it. So let me show you what I got here. This is just I've got no weight on this. This is just a leader here, monofilament leader down to a 10-aught size circle hook. That's a white bass head. We're gonna throw it out there weightless. Again, this is a shallow creek, so don't really, with a bait that size, don't really need a weight to keep it down. And we'll throw it out there and see what happens. If the turtles just tear us up, we'll switch over for maybe a carp rig, but we're gonna try it and see. This next rig here, we're gonna have more traditional carp rig, but I'm gonna put a worm on the hook in addition to the plastic corn there, along with some pack bait. So we're gonna have a combination of baits today. We're gonna have a cut bait, plastic corn bait for the carp. We're gonna have some worms, hopefully get some buffalo. The last time I fished here, my regular viewers, I got one buffalo, but it was mostly carp and catfish. So we'll see what happens today. I had a thought that there could be some cats up in here spawning potentially in this creek. This section of this creek here, it's actually got more depth than the other parts of it. Over here along this shoreline, it's probably 6-7 feet deep over there. I didn't have my graph on coming up through here, but you know, it's got a little bit more depth than this side over here where our cut bait's at. And maybe we may need to switch them baits, actually. Yeah, that may be what we need to do. We'll leave it as is since I've got that head bait cast out there for now. But we may end up needing to put the cut bait a little over there toward the deeper part and then move the carp part shallower. But you know, the last time out, this rod that was sitting over here kind of in the deeper part, that's the one that kept getting hit. And we were catching all the carp on it, so we'll see. We may mix it up here throughout the morning. We got plenty of time to play around and experiment, but I'm gonna get us one of them old Canadian night crawlers. This one here seems a little shorter than, we may have got some baby Canadian night crawlers this time, but either way, we got some, by gosh. So we got some pack bait on that feeder. And when I get my next rod baited up, I'll go over the pack bait combination and all that, in case you're new to my channel. Let's throw that right over there. I'm gonna do 2 rods in front of me and 1 behind me. Since this creek is obviously very narrow, we need a little space for fish to run and hopefully not get us all tangled up and lines wrapped around each other. Now this rig here, same as the other one that I just cast out, the one difference being the corn color. The other one was yellow plastic corn. This one here has some pink corn. But if you're new to my channel, you haven't seen me carp fish before, the rig is very simple. This is a cheap Amazon special here. It's a method feeder. I've got a link down the video description, but you get like a 15 pack for 15 bucks basically. Off this bottom part here, I got a swivel above and below with a piece of 50-pound monofilament in between, and that just kind of keeps your feeder down close to your hook. Off this bottom swivel though, we've got a number 6 size ESP hook with a hair rig with a couple pieces of the fake corn. We'll obviously put a night crawler on there as well. And we'll pack this pack bait around the feeder, which is just wire and coil, which helps hold that in place. Now the pack bait today is what I've been using. We're going to be mixing things up here soon because I made a purchase, y'all. I'll tell you about that here throughout the morning. But today we're going with the tried and true Panko breadcrumbs. I've got a can of golden sweet corn, a can of cream style corn, and then some strawberry jello in there. And it makes this dough-like mixture with the corn and the jello and breadcrumbs and all, and you just pack it on this feeder. And when you cast this out, the breadcrumbs will start to fall off this feeder along with the corn, and you create a little chum pile that the carp and buffalo and oftentimes catfish too come up and eat, and then they get your hook bait there as they're drawn to that chum pile. But I want to go ahead and put us on a night crawler on that as well. The worms have been doing me right. I took some worms out about a month ago, I guess, and got on a really good buffalo bite. Like, I struggle catching buffalo. If you told me today, Justin, you got to go out and catch you a buffalo, boy, there's a good chance I may just come up empty-handed. But for some reason, I seem to catch more of them on the worms, and been getting a lot of carp on the worms. And of course, catfish, they'll eat worms too. So I just been sticking with it. Now this one here, we're gonna throw off kind of behind us here because, again, you need a little space. Oh, right there was a fish jumped up. I don't know if I got on camera or not. I saw that one. I just happened to be looking that way. So we'll throw that out behind us. We'll put it in the rod holder behind our seat here. And y'all, we got our lines out, we're in business. Y'all keep an eye on that rod behind me in case I don't see her. I'm sure I'll hear it when the fish take off with it. Let me get our bag closed back up and our cutting board out the way. And we're fishing, y'all. We are fishing. I am interested to see what happens today with the cut bait. I fear I'm going to regret it just because I'm fishing shallow, and I know a lot of you love fishing shallow, and there's a lot of big fish caught in the shallows. Personally, I just don't like it because the turtles and the gar, man, they just keep your hook stripped clean. And you know me, at least regular viewers anyway, you know, I like fishing deep. I got a lot of confidence fishing deep structure for catfish. So when I'm in a place like I am today, just hiding from boaters, I just like fishing for the carp. You know, if I come out on a carp trip, I want to fish for carp. But after getting that one kind of fun-sized catfish in this spot on this creek here recently, I was like, man, I bet you, because this creek here, it runs out and feeds into the main channel. And I bet you during the spawn, which we're still in, the spawn's wrapping up here in East Tennessee, but you know, there's still some fish on the nest. I bet you some of them come up in this creeks here, and I bet you, like the bank over here, where you got all them big trees and stuff coming out, I bet you there's some undercut areas, because catfish are cavity spawners. They like to get up under stuff. I bet you there's some fish possibly nesting over in through here and stuff. So anyway, we're going to try it today, y'all. We're going unedited, raw and uncut. Y'all my fishing buddies for the morning here. We're going to fish till it gets hot this morning, so come along with me. Grab you a snack, let's go. I'm gonna put y'all in the chest. And we out here, we're gonna catch some fish, we're gonna tell some stories. There's been stuff going on with me lately, so I'll fill you in on all that. Most importantly though, hopefully we're gonna have some fun today. That's what I wanna do. I saw another fish jumping right down there. This creek, it's got some carp. I caught several fish in the last trip out and got them pretty quickly after setting up. I always worry when I'm fishing shallow like this. When I first go through an area to get set up and I got the motor going, I'm always worried I'm gonna spook some fish. And oftentimes, I've talked about this many times before, but like, you know, when you set up on carp, it oftentimes takes 30 minutes to an hour to get that first bite. And so I credit that to spooking fish, making noise as you move along through the shallows. So sound travels through water so quickly, and so of course, fish tend to be a little bit more spooky in shallow water anyway. But there are days, something just hit our cut bait, you see that? Hope it ain't a turtle on it already. Some days, the bite's on instantly. And so it may just be a matter of right place, right time. Oh, well, by gosh, right here. Here we go. Here we go. I don't think this is what we want. This may be a catfish, actually. I think I mashed a button on my motor too, when I turned in the seat. It's a blue. Got him a worm here. Starting off with a catfish, a few minutes into the trip, way smaller. I want to catch something big on that cut bait over there, buddy. But this one here is setting the bar low for us to start. We can only go up from here, folks. But hey, I mean, we're 10, 11 minutes into this here. What does it say? 11 minutes into the video, and we already got a fish. So that's a good sign. I can get the hook out of him. It's on the one behind us. There he is, a little tiny blue cat. Yeah, some days it's on immediately, some days it's not, and I'm just like, yeah, maybe it's just right place, right time. But I turned the camera on as soon as I cut my piece of cut bait. And I turned the camera on. I've tested it both ways with the regular viewers. And, you know, because my fear is of having, if we have a day where we're waiting 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, get that first bite, I'm like, well, you know, are people gonna want to stick with me that long while we're not getting bit? But the overall consensus, at least the people who comment, seem to be that they want me to turn the camera on as soon as I get on the water here. So that's what we're doing today. I got my power pole set, I cut my cut bait, got the camera out and turned it on, and we rolling, man. So y'all out here, you my fishing buddies today, start to finish. Well, at least start till we run out of camera battery. I may fish a little longer. We'll see how hot it is. Usually my camera battery lasts about 4 hours or so. Let's get us another worm on there and cast it back out. That was the last rod we put out too. I mean, I know it's a pretty quick bite to start the trip, but it was really quick on that particular rod because of me putting it out last. But here's the other thing. The rod behind us here, this is farther back in the creek. I came from the main channel, so the fish that are potentially behind us, I didn't spook. I didn't run right over the top of them with my motor. When you get a creek this narrow, you're pretty much running over the top of fish when you motor through a place like this. So there's no way not to really spook some fish. And I don't imagine, you know, I know in some areas that are got heavy boat traffic, fish probably get kind of used to the motor noise, but a creek like this, I doubt very seriously that anybody comes up in here. I don't ever see, and granted, you know, I don't fish here all the time, but I never see, when I do come out here, I never see any boats. Now, I hope I'm not jinxing myself and conjuring them up today. We sure don't want to see nobody. You get somebody in a creek like this, it's gonna mess it up because we're gonna we're gonna have to reel in our lines, move out of their way. But hey, we got the skunk out, man. It was a blue cat, so it counts. If it was a channel cat, we wouldn't have counted it. But I wanted to come out here for a few reasons. One, we're hiding from boats today. Two, I wanted to bring some cut bait out and just see if we could possibly hook a big cat. It's gonna be awesome, man. If we hook a big blue or flathead in this tight of an area, it is gonna be awesome. So I wanna try that. Obviously, we wanna try to get some buffalo, potentially, if they're in here. And because it's hot as blazes right now, we're gonna beat the heat, because in this creek here, we got the sun. You can probably see it coming up through the trees at this point. These trees right here are gonna block that sun for a big portion of the morning. We're gonna be in the shade. So gonna help us, well, when I say us, it's gonna help me stay comfortable longer. It's just so dang hot right now. Hell, you can't hardly stand to do anything. Now, we do gotta keep an eye out, and I said this last time, y'all keep your eyes peeled over here. That grass looks snaky to me, looks snake infested. I don't know, didn't see any snakes last time, but there's probably some in there. We probably got 57 snakes around us, just don't know it, don't see them. Did I move, or did the rod tip move? Maybe it's just me. I think that cut bait's gonna get turtled, man. We may end up switching it up, flip-flop them two rods. It's just the last time I was out here, the rod on the right was getting hit nonstop, man. Like it was the one that caught the bulk of the fish, but it was out in the deeper part of the water. Something is pulling on that. I think it's a turtle, I bet. My other rod that was probably 2 or 3 foot deep in depth, it wasn't getting messed with, so I don't know, we'll see. We'll see what happens today. The way this creek runs, it's obviously narrow. We're set up over here. My left power pole here on the kayak's probably a few inches deep, but it comes off like this. And over there along the bank, you know, you've got some 6, 7 foot depths depending on water level. And then obviously comes up to just a few inches over here. So that's the deeper part. But the thing is, because this area is so tight, it's so narrow, our scent, man, any fish that's coming up through here, like, they can't not find our baits really. So, and we don't have a lot of flow in this creek, but you can see like it is moving slightly. So things are our scent is getting pushed down a little bit. So we'll see what happens today. Let's give it an hour or so before we go messing with stuff. If y'all got the patience to wait that long. I keep hearing stuff behind me. Oh, maybe more fish behind us. I don't know, hopefully they'll make their way down. I didn't, like I said, I didn't spook the fish that are behind us, but I set up here where I did because, again, the way the sun comes up right there, I knew with these overhanging trees right here, like we're gonna have shade here the longest in this creek. And that's what it's about today, is staying comfortable. Want to catch fish, want to have fun, want to stay comfortable though in this heat. Yeah, here goes a real life story for you. Speaking of heat, you know, that's what triggered my mind. So, that story may have to wait because we got a fish on right here. There he goes. There he goes. He knows he's hooked now, don't he? All right, fish number 2. What is that? What is that over there? Is that another cat? I don't know. I don't know what this is for sure yet. Is that a cat? It may be a cat. No, it's not. It's a small carp. And guess what? This carp right here is going to have him a bad day, folks. He is going to have a bad day because he's coming with us. I am in need. I've got some white bass in my cooler, but I'm planning on doing a more traditional catfish trip tomorrow. And I'm in need of bait. I got a few white bass, but not enough. So I thought, you know what, if I get a smaller carp, and you know, it's hard to catch a small carp, like you just can't find a carp that's, there goes my net. Get over here, carp. Don't run around all my poles and oh, he ran around my dang power pole. It's hard to catch a smaller carp. Boy, y'all, this fish, I'm gonna unnet him and hope that he goes back around the power pole the way he came. I think he's just wrapping himself up more. Fish, act like somebody. Act like you've been on video before. Don't show out like this, making a fool of yourself. There we go, now get in the net, there we go. Anyway, I decided I like using carp for bait. I do. But only the small ones. The bigger ones, once they get, honestly, this size right here, they are so hard to cut. I mean, it's ridiculous how difficult. They're just bones and scales is all they are. And so, normally I like the really small ones that you get when you throw the cast net. You don't ever catch the small ones on rod and reel. But this one right here, I mean, it's hard to catch them smaller than this. So we're gonna throw him in the cooler. He gave us the worm back too, that was nice. This fish has done us a solid here, and we're gonna be throwing him in the cooler. He feels like he's got gypped. Oh, look at here at his fin. Is that why he possibly didn't fight as hard as some of the others? Because he's missing a fin right there? This fish, you've had a bad day, fish. Let me open up my cooler before I turn around and him go flying out of my hand or something. We'll be hearing this fish flop around in that cooler for 30 minutes. He'll be driving us crazy back there. We're taking him. Nope, maybe not. You almost got away, carp. Nope. Y'all, I'm struggling right here. Get in that cooler and stay in there. Get in there, you old fish. There. Oh, that was close, y'all. He jumped out, was in my crate there. Daggone fish. Yeah, I'm gonna do some catfishing, do some ledge fishing tomorrow. And what the heck is going on here now? Have we got another fish on this rod? Boy, we do. I didn't even know it. I just looked back, I saw my line there. Y'all supposed to keep an eye on that rod. Hell, I'm distracted. Danged old channel cat right here. This one don't even count. We trying to catch some catfish today, but we don't want these ever. These little tiny little bait stealing channel cats. And boy, I don't know where he thought he was going with that thing. Did he just doo-doo on me? I don't know what that is on him. Okay. Well, folks, we gotta get some bait on here, man. We're catching some fish here right quick, fast, and in a hurry. Nothing big yet, nothing of any quality, but we get a another carp that size or smaller that we just got, we'll throw it in there in the cooler and take it with us too. I hate cutting them things up, but they do make a good bait. It's just, boy, it's a chore to cut them. But desperate times, desperate measures. I've got some white bass. I've been struggling to get the skipjack, and so we're going to try using some carp tomorrow. Do a little combination trip today, catfishing and carp, and then hopefully get our catfish bait while we're having our fun today. We'll use the rest of that worm and we'll stick us another one on. I got 2 tubs of worms with us today, so we're not gonna run out. At least we shouldn't. And that carp over there, he left us a refund there on that other worm anyway. Okay, let's throw this back out behind us. I need y'all to keep an eye on this rod this time. You let that fish swim up here. He was headed out of this creek with that dang rod. I just glanced back. I'm like, well, hell, where'd that line? I thought maybe that other fish had got in it for a second. Nope. Just y'all not paying attention. Yeah, we'll just rehook this worm. He's still alive there. He's still moving. I don't know how long worms, I don't know how long they stay alive under the water there. I imagine it's not too terribly long, but I don't know. The way the bite's going so far, though, he ain't gonna have to be down there very long to attract some attention. You know, here's another thought too. You know, I'm just thinking out loud here. That piece of cut bait, we could throw it behind us over here, kind of in the deep. That way we could have one carp rig in the deeper water and the catfish rig in the deeper water, and move our other pack bait rig and worm up this direction. That's a thought. I mean, that's 2 catfish that we've caught behind us now. Of course, them channel cat the size we just got is gonna shred that bait. I got a feeling that whatever's hit it there a couple times, where it's currently at, is probably shredded it too. I gotta reset my power poles here. I'm moving around too much. We're gonna be, this mud bottom here we're setting in's real soft, so every time I shift my weight, we're moving them poles. So we're gonna have to be adjusting them a little bit. But I was trying to get a story out for that one first fish that interrupted me there. I had a little incident. My house the other day, I was sitting there on Sunday. And I'm in my house, you know, I'm minding my own business. I'm watching Roadhouse. Not the old one with Patrick Swayze, but I was watching the new one with that, hell, I don't know his name. Jake something or another. It had Conor McGregor in it. And it was pretty good. You know, most of them remake movies ain't no good, but this one was, it was a pretty good movie. But anyway, I'm sitting there watching it. I'm like, man, it feels like it's getting hotter in here. And I get up and look at my thermostat, and it says 80 degrees. I'm like, what the hell? I go outside. I look at my, my air conditioning unit out there, and it's running, but the fan ain't spinning. And so I was like, oh crap, and of course it's Sunday. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna call around. And so I found, hold on, we got, this fish, oh boy, this one's pulling. Let's see what we got here, folks. We're hooked up again. We may not get many stories out today. These fish keep biting, buddy. I think this one here is going to be a little bigger than that last carp that we got. I think, anyway. Did he just get in my cut bait line? I think he did. I think he went under it there. Maybe we can spin him back this way. And okay, I think we got lucky. He hit my line, but he didn't get wrapped up in it. Yeah, that's a little better one than the last fish there. Oh, he is still in my line. What fish? My gosh, why'd you do that for? Now he's gonna spin laps around it now. He's gonna get us a tangled mess. Well, just go get my motor too, why don't you? Lord. This fish here's got a bad attitude. He heard that I kept his friend, and he's here to seek vengeance. You know what, Carp? I got half a mind to keep you too. If that's how you want to be, trying to avenge your friend, we can avenge you both together. See if I can get this hook out before he does any more shenanigans here. Okay. I don't know what he has done with this. I don't know what he's done with it, but he's got it all wrapped up. Maybe not. Maybe it ain't gonna be too bad. I thought it originally he had just went under. Oh, you calm down there. You wait your turn, Carp. I'm not putting up with your nonsense after what you've done to me here, making me look like a fool on this camera here, like I'm a. There's people out there, I guarantee you, tuned into this, and they're like, why the hell is he casting 2 lines up there? He's just begging to get some tangles. And now you're proving these people right, Carp. You're proving them right. Making me look silly in the process. I think for what this fish has done to me, I think for what he's done to me, he needs to go in the cooler. Don't you? Don't you agree? I think he does. Okay, I think we got it. Nope. Let me put that up there. He's a little, the other one honestly is a little bigger than what I would have wanted to keep. Again, it's hard to catch carp that are small. You just don't, I get them in the cast net occasionally, but getting a carp that's like under a pound, something that you can still actually cut, like it's just hard to do. You just don't see them. I feel like as soon as a carp egg hatches, they're 3 pounds or bigger. I mean, that's just how it typically goes. I don't know how this fish done that. He got my hair rig. It's like a girl braiding her hair or something. The fact that I have made it this far with this thing, and the fact that y'all would even continue to watch is, I think you need to reevaluate. The fact you're watching me untangle, we're going to end up just cutting this before it's said and done. I just can't. I ain't got the patience for this. Y'all need to reevaluate your lives, though. The fact you're sitting here watching me undo a tangle, there's got to be something better you could be doing with your time right now. This is something right here. Okay, I think I got it. I think I've got it now. Or so I thought. Okay. Okay. There we go. We got it. I want to reel in that head bait now. Let me just go ahead and... What'd y'all get hung in up here? What's going on? What the heck is going on here? Did he get me around the damn motor too? Oh, good gosh. Good gosh almighty. Let's get that out the way. I don't know what the heck has happened here. Carp, you've done a mess on us. Buddy, you are most definitely going in the cooler along with your friend who is still back there wanting to flop. I ain't even gonna hardly give you no front camera time, buddy. You stay in there. Don't you dare try flopping out till I get that lid closed. I can't fit his... There we go. All right, he's locked in the cooler. We showed that fish, didn't we? He's gonna do us like that. That's just how it's gonna be. That fish will never torment any of y'all ever again. Okay, well, let's see what we got going on here. I think this fish is maybe, possibly, gotten my motor. All right, let's see what we got going on. Okay, maybe he did not. I wonder if he's gotten in my dang... I've got a... Well... I've got a patch, not a patch, but a DIY keel guard, I guess you'd call it, on the bow of my kayak. And what it does is it just gives me a little extra protection when I'm going into like the concrete boat ramps. Them concrete boat ramps, they are hard on plastic kayaks just because, you know, plastic and concrete, it don't mix. And so I've taken some plastic and plastic welded that on there, and it's got kind of a rough texture. And I think my line, somehow or another, that fish has maybe caught that line on part of my keel guard there. And now I can't pop it free. This is insane. Oh my gosh, now I got my line wrapped around that. Boy, for us to be having a good day here, we're sure struggling all of a sudden. Well, here's let's do first. I'm gonna have to cut that damn thing. I can't believe this. I'm on the damn Twilight Zone or something here, man. Here's what I want to do right now. Now that we got this mess untangled at least, let's send this rod back out. And I'm gonna try to, I I don't know what I'm gonna do with that, y'all. I can't get up there to it. Ever since I put this graph on this mount in front of me here, I can't climb up to the front of the kayak no more like I used to be able to do. Which I don't have to get up there much unless line gets in my prop or something. Which that has happened a couple times before. I don't know why we can't pop that thing free. Best I can figure, it's on one of the rough edges up there. And it's just hung, and we need to be hitting it from an angle that we ain't hitting it at. I want to get this line back out though. We're missing opportunity here to be catching a fish. That fish, you know, he bit that line to come up here and honor his friend that we had put in a cooler, and in the process has maybe saved some of his other friends. Now I don't think I'm gonna, well, one, I know I ain't gonna keep no more carp because I don't think I can fit any more in my cooler. But he's definitely saved them anyway. All right, there's that back out. Now let's see if we can get this mess sorted back out here before the next fish bites. I hate to cut that line because we got our other rig just sitting out there, and I see my line. Y'all get down there in that water and help me out, would you? I can't get y'all to do a damn thing around here. All right. We're just gonna, I guess we're gonna break it. That's the only thing I know to do. I'm not getting out there. This mud, like I said, we're in mud. Hell, I'd sink down. I'd sink down 2 foot probably if I tried to walk in this mess. Probably sink down my knee. That's all I need to get myself in daggone quicksand or something. I'd have to have y'all, I'd have to send y'all a GPS location here to come bail me out. But we're gonna have to cut this mess. I don't know what's going on, man. This is the damnedest thing I've ever seen. I don't know, it has to be just on one of the rough edges there of my kill guard, but you would think it would just pop free. Gosh dang it. I thought I'd popped it free, but basically I didn't. There we go. I broke it then. I think we pulled in our cut bait right up to, it's probably dangling off my kill guard. Wouldn't that be something? We catch a fish on that piece of cut bait that's now connected to my kayak. That'd be a new way to catch them. This is a damn mess right here. I can't believe this is happening. That's the problem with unedited videos when crazy crap like this happens. Y'all see it all, man. Good, bad, crazy, plumb silly. Y'all see it all. Put this back here. Goodness gracious, man. Well, let's tie us another catfish rig on. I can't believe, I can believe it, but I can't. Y'all come with me, buddy. This is one thing bad. If you come fish with me on these videos with the stupid stuff that I do, it ought to make you feel pretty damn good about your own fishing abilities to see me struggle so much. It's something all the time, man. All the time. All right. I got some pre-tied leaders here. And I'm not gonna put a sinker on because I mean we're just fishing so shallow. I want to kind of use a little bit. That was a head bait we had on. I kind of want to use a little bit bigger bait just in case we do get turtled or gar messing with it. It'll take them a little while longer to completely destroy it versus a smaller piece of bait that can just be destroyed in seconds. Oh, you know what though? I didn't think about this beforehand. I got them dang carp here in the cooler. You think they're gonna pop out? You lay right where yous are, carp. Don't you dare flop. Okay, we're good. I was worried they might still be lively enough to possibly pop out of there. Let's cut the rest of this white bass up. I'm just gonna cut the tail off of him. We'll throw him out like that. A little bit bigger chunk, but I mean, we're hoping to possibly get I'm hoping anyway, to hopefully get possibly a trophy class fish in here. If there's something big in here spawning. We'll see. You know, we got this thing reeled in. Is this the opportunity to maybe, you know what? Here, let's do this. Let's do this. I mentioned maybe throwing this thing behind us. Here's what we can do instead, is cast farther. We'll throw it out deeper, but we'll throw it farther down. Because I got this one cast right over here. Let's, there. Now, well, now we don't really have anything up 1-2 feet deep, but that's okay, because it seems like last trip and now the 2 carp that we've got, they've been out a little bit deeper, so. I'm indecisive today, y'all. We got a lot going on. I'm indecisive. We've got to reset our poles again. We're gonna have these damn poles 8 foot down by the time it's said and done. Oh, here comes the current again the other way. This happened the other trip out too. See how the current's going backwards? Best I can figure, they're doing something at the dam, maybe like locking a barge or something through, and so they're letting out water, which reservoir, it's got to go somewhere. So instead of water coming out of the creeks, water gets pushed up in it. I think y'all got something on the lens there. Bad, y'all got to tell me these things now. If I'm gonna clean your face, you got to let me know. It needs to be cleaned. But here's the thing, despite all of our troubles, we've got multiple carp, multiple catfish, and we got all our lines reset. So we're in good shape. We're in good shape here, y'all. I wish that current wouldn't be coming backwards though. It's gonna potentially bring these lines slack. Hopefully it won't last long. It didn't last very long last time. I think as soon as whatever they're doing stops, it's like it goes back out. But anyway, I was trying to tell the damn story. So it's Sunday. I'm minding my own business, sitting there watching Roadhouse, and my house is getting hot. Thermostat, I look at it, it's 80. I'm like, what the hell's going on? So my air conditioner's running, but the fan ain't spinning. And so I have no idea. You know, I'm not mechanically inclined. I don't know what's going on. So I get on the phone, and Pipe Wrench Plumbing, they got like HVAC and plumbing services. They got an on-call person on Sunday, which guess what? It's after hours, it's a Sunday, you know, you paying a extraordinary rate. But to their credit, they got out to my house, Had the thing fixed in a couple hours. It was something called a capacitor, which apparently about a $10 part, but cost $300 to have somebody come out and fix it. And you know, I watched the guy. I wasn't trying to hover over him or anything, but he's a nice guy. I was sitting there talking to him while he was working. It didn't seem like it was too labor intensive to switch out that. I mean, that capacitor thing looks just like it almost looks like a whiskey flask or something. But he got shocked by that thing, man. He had the breaker. There's 2 breakers out there on my heat and air unit. He had pulled one, and I guess he needed to pull the other one, or pull them both. I don't know, but anyway, he went to hook that new capacitor up and got him a little jolt. I was like, well, how often does that happen? And he's like, about once a month. I was like, is that just like a job hazard that you do as a heat and air guy? Got him a little jolt, buddy. Thankfully, he didn't get stung. He took the side of my heat and air unit off, the panel off, and there was bees up in there, wasps. So thankfully, he didn't get lit up by them. But yeah, Sunday I'm sitting there watching the Roadhouse and just realized, man, it's got hot. And a few $100 later, I got somebody out there to fix a damn capacitor. I told my heat and air unit, I was like, look, I think it's like 11 years old now. I was like, look, you're probably going to tear up again at some point in the future. I get it, you're old. But I'm going to need you to do it Monday through Friday during normal business hours from now on. That way I don't get hit with the service fee. You know, and I could have probably waited. I could have waited till Monday to do it, but I mean, you know how hot it's been lately. Like, you know, it's 90 plus degrees, high humidity here every damn day, and that's just the temperature that the weatherman gives you. That's not the feels like temperature when the sun's beating down. You know, it's just miserable hot. So I was like, I'm just gonna go ahead and, if I can get somebody out here, go ahead and get done. And I tell you, there's always somebody on call, but boy, you're gonna pay out the hind end for it. But to their credit, they did get there quickly. I mean, from the time I called to the time he was done was like 2 hours. So that's pretty good turnaround time. He had that part on the truck. I guess that's a common thing goes wrong with them capacitors. Yeah, mine went out on a damn Sunday. On a positive note, though, that Roadhouse movie was pretty good. I can't pronounce that guy's name. Jake something or another. It's got a G and a bunch of letters. He's a pretty good actor. It was filmed down there. I can't remember the first one. I mean, I've seen the first one when I was a kid, but I can't remember, other than Patrick Swayze being in it, I really can't remember a whole lot about it. But this one was filmed down in the Florida Keys, which was nice because, you know me, I have a fondness for the Keys. Probably going to go back down there this winter, at least a week. Looking at maybe Thanksgiving week of going down there again. But just the overhead shots and stuff in the movie, yeah, that's where I ought to be right now. It would have been cooler down in the Keys than what it was in my house when the air unit went off. I couldn't believe that guy got shocked though. I mean, it was like you heard it like a pop. It was loud. He said you get used to it, but I'm like, I don't think that's something I'd want to get used to. Yep. So got me a new capacitor. Hopefully this one will last a few. It seems like that happened before. I can't remember what year. I had a guy come out because it had went out. And it seems like it was a capacitor then. I can't remember what year that was. I didn't have them come out. It happened during normal business hours back then. I got somebody. But either way, it's done now. Daphne the dog can lay there in air condition today while I'm out here catching fish with y'all. Daphne's got some problems going on right now too, buddy. She got her a bicycle. And these electric bike companies, they were sending bikes pretty regularly, and Daphne and I would put them on my channel. Me and her would race around the yard and whatnot. And as time has gone on, I feel like every possible bike company at this point has sent me at least one bike. We're getting a little long in the tooth on this stuff. But you know Daphne, she's greedy. And if she gets an opportunity to get an electric bike that she knows she can sell for a few $100 after we film a little 10-minute segment on video, she's gonna take that damn bike. I mean, that's how this dog is. She's super greedy like that. So anyway, on her behalf, I had negotiated with this company. And at first, when we first got the email, I thought it was a prank. Because the company name of this bike company is called Puck I Puppy. Like puck, like hockey puck. Oh, there was a carp. He jumped up right there. We got some fish right here in the area. I think the current is stopped right now. Hopefully it's going to get going back that way in a minute. But anyway, this company name, it's like hockey puck, and puppy, like dog, puppy. And when I first got that email, I was like, this has to be a joke. Like, why in the hell would a company name itself Puck Puppy? Because say that fast, say that fast out loud 3 times. What does it sound like? You know what I mean? Like, that's why I thought maybe it was a joke, like it was a prank or something. But anyway, they reach out, they send me a little paragraph that, generic, and then it's got a link to the bicycle they're wanting to send me. And so I click on it. And what Daphne wants me to do in these situations is just click on the bike and see the price. All these bicycles, these electric bikes, they're pretty much all the same. I'm partially convinced they might all be made in the same factory over there in China, and they're just stamping different company names on the side and putting different color paint on them. Like I mean, because the motors are the same, the design, like it's all the same, just different companies. So anyway, at this point, Daphne just wants me to look at the price of the bike. If it's $1,200 or more retail, we know we can sell it for a few $100. And so we take the bike. So I negotiate the deal on her behalf. And I've got, at this point, I've done this song and dance for her so many times. Like, I know what these companies want. I know what they're looking for. So we don't have to exchange 30 emails. I send I've got it in my notes thing there on my computer, but it's a pre-made statement, really, that addresses every question they're going to ask me. So when I respond back to the initial email, I answer every question, every follow-up question they're going to have. I'll let them know what I will do, what I won't do, what they can expect from me, what I am going to expect from them, blah, 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 all on there. Some companies are cool with it, some I never hear from them again. This one was cool with it. So this one wanted me to sign a contract, which, okay, whatever. Some are like that, fine. The contract basically just says everything that I had already put in writing in the original email I sent, whatever. So I signed the contract, they shipped the bike. And this bike pops, I can't remember what model I got off the top of my head. It's either the Boxer or the Labrador model. They named all of these electric bikes after dogs because, and this is another reason I thought I was getting pranked. Because again, the company name, Puck Puppy, and it's like, I forget exactly how it's worded, but like their company mission statement is they've named their bikes after dogs because humans are loyal to dogs, and we're going to like their bike so much that we're going to be loyal to them. It was something along those lines. And I'm like, this is a prank. Like, this is one of my friends just pranking me. But no, this is a legit website. The bike shows up. I take it out of the box. It looks like all the other bikes, you know. It looks, you know, every other bike in this price range. So we get it put together. I say we. I'm getting it put together. Daphne's, she's sniffing around and watching for groundhogs and stuff. She's not helping at all, even though this is her bike. We're putting it together, and I noticed we're missing some parts. First off, we're missing the fender, the front fender, which that's kind of a big deal. Unless you want to get water and dirt and mud flung up all over you. So we're missing that. And then we're also missing one of the bolts. The handlebars connect, it's got 4 bolts. We're missing one of those, which that's not a huge deal, but it is a annoyance that you've got a brand new bike and I'm missing a bolt and I'm missing a fender. So anyway, I put the bike together, minus the fender, minus the bolt, charge the battery up, go to turn the damn thing on, and guess what? It won't turn on. I check all my wires, I pull the battery out, I push the button on it, make sure I got a green light, make sure it actually charged. I got no power. I got nothing on this thing. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. First I'm missing parts, now the damn thing don't work. So I pull out my phone, and I make a little video for the company. I'm like, look, I got the bike, I've got it put together, minus the fender and the bolt. Here I am holding the button down. It will not turn on. I show all the wires are connected, everything. Well, they respond back. Now they want me to do another video, taking the battery completely out of the bike, showing them the green light, putting the battery back in. I guess they think I'm incompetent, don't know how to install a battery. I do that, send them that video. They respond back. They're going to send me a battery housing, battery case, something or another. I guess they think the battery's not, something that the battery's encased in, I guess they feel like is maybe the problem. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I wait, a few days go by, I wait a few days, and I'm like, okay, let me respond back, because I'm like, I tell all these companies that I will have the video completed within 30 days of getting the bike. And I've put 30 days because 1, it gives me time, and 2, from past dealings with them, I know 30 days is the turnaround they're looking for. Again, it's just one of them questions I answer before I get asked. It saves on emails, saves on time. But I'm waiting on this part that's just not coming. And so I respond back and I inquire about it, and they say, well, my contact has reached out to somebody and it's going to be shipped to me. They don't have an ETA at the present time, blah, 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 blah. And so I respond back. I'm like, look, here's the bottom line. You've sent me a bike that's missing parts and doesn't work. And now you can't even tell me when I can get the part that we don't even know this part is going to be what fixes it, but you can't even give me an ETA on when this is going to show up. I'm like, there is no way at this point that I can put this bike on video and give it a positive review to my audience. Like, there's no way I'm going to be able to gloss over any of this stuff, okay? Like, I've had a bad experience with this. And I've had one other bike that I had problems like this with. And so I was like, it would probably be best at this point if we just cancel our contract, cancel the deal, and you arrange for shipping to have this bike sent back to you. And when I'd had this problem before with another bike, hold on, we got something going on with our line. Did you see our line? The rod didn't move, but I think the line was, has something got that line right there? It's kind of slack now. I'm gonna just pick up on it a second. If we feel weight on here, I want you to jerk this fish's jaw. I think something's got it. I want you to set this hook. 3, 2, 1. Oh my gosh, you set the hook on air. Bunch of amateurs. How'd you not know that there wasn't a fish on there? Boy, y'all are something else today. I can't get you to set the hook on a fish. You got your line wrapped around something on the kayak we had to break off. Y'all got problems today. I'm gonna have to give y'all some fishing lessons or something before we come back out again. Let's just repack this thing. Our worm's still on. He didn't even steal the worm. I don't know what y'all were seeing or thinking. I'll admit, when I picked up on that rod there, I thought there was something on it. Like he was just sitting there with it. But we were both clearly wrong in that situation. Okay. Crisis averted though. We done got it rebaited and back out there. Give it a little while. We may redo our other rod behind us too, since it's been a minute since it's been hit. Current's going the correct direction again, thankfully. So anyway, when this happened before, it was with one of them tricycle bikes, trikes. And I had an awful time with it. It was a terrible quality bike. And when I reached back out to that company, they were like, keep the bike, don't do the video. It was like, will you just take a couple pictures for our social media? Like, they didn't want me doing a bad review, because I've told, I tell all these companies, like, I'm not gonna lie to my audience. I'm not gonna lie to you all. If, and I don't ride these bikes very long. Me and Daphne, we keep one. The model we kept, I think I've had it over a year, maybe 2. It's the Frigo F1 model. It's like a little moped style. It's fast, and I like it. It's the fastest bike we've had. It's a comfortable ride, so that's the one we've kept. All these others we get, we film the video, we turn around and sell them, because Daphne's greedy and she wants that money. So, if I have a good experience in the 2 miles that I'm gonna, and it may not even be 2 miles, it's probably less than that by the time I just ride it around and film our video and whatnot. If I have a good experience in that time, I'm gonna tell y'all about it. And y'all can do your own research and watch other review videos and all that. I'm not a bicycle guy, I'm a fisherman. So I'm not the person to be getting bike advice from anyway, but if I have a bad experience, I'm not gonna lie to you all about it. I'm not gonna gloss over that. So, and I'm honest about that when I reach out to these companies. I'm like, look, I'm not going to risk my reputation over some electric bike. I'm just not going to do it. So the tricycle bike, when I told them, like, look, there's no way I can give you there's no way I can say anything positive about that. They were like, just don't do the video. We're good. Take a couple pictures for social media. And that was that. And so when I sent this puck eye puppy, and I hope the YouTube voiceover thing. What's it? Subtitles. I hope they're not thinking I'm saying another word that I'm not and getting myself dinged here or something. I swear, you say that company name 3 times, it's going to sound like something very vulgar to a puppy. But I thought when I sent that email to them saying like, look, there's nothing, at this point, like there's nothing positive I can say about this bike, that they too would just either want the bike back or be like, you know, take a couple pictures social media like the other company, whatever. I didn't think they were going to want me to blast them on video. Doesn't seem like that'd be very good for business. Of course, naming your company the name they did don't seem like that's very good for business either, but whatever. So anyway, I sent them that email and they respond back that no, they're going to send the part, and you know, they're okay with the delay in me getting the video done, and this video is apparently happening, y'all. So I don't know. This may be the worst bicycle review video ever, but if they ever get the thing functioning, I guess it's going to happen. Look right here. Look right here, our cut bait. That's a slow takedown right there. That's a slow takedown. I wonder if something's fully got the bait or if something was just tugging on it. I don't see the bait moving anymore. You saw that rod though, right? Like it went, oh, okay, he still got it. He still got it. We got him. We've got him. I don't think we want him. I don't think we want him, but we got him. I think it's a turtle. I think we've got a turtle, and I hope if it's a snapping turtle, y'all are dealing with it. Dang. Oh, y'all heard me. First thing, I was fearful of this happening. Fish shallows like that. And I know people tell me all the time, Justin, why don't you fish shallow? Why don't you fish, you're out there carp fishing, throw out some cut bait. This right here's why I don't do it. It's fun catching cats in the shallows. I'll admit, it's fun catching them. Fishing for them, though, in the shallows, not so much. Let's see what we got. He's not even, oh, did you see that? He let it go. That was a snapping turtle. He did not have the hook. He was clamped down right here, and I towed that dang thing all the way up here. I hope that got on camera. He did not have the hook. He let me pull him all the way in. That may be the best turtle I've ever dealt with, and we got to recast that. That may be the best. There was a carp right there jumping up too. That's the best turtle I have ever dealt with in my life. He didn't tear up our bait. We didn't have to fool with unhooking him. I don't really think I got that bait where I wanted to either, but we'll leave it be for now. That's the best turtle ever. I like turtles like that, even if he was a snapper. You know, I love me some sliders and box turtles. I seen another box turtle the other day at a boat ramp. But I don't like snapping turtles. I mean, they're okay and all, as long as I don't have to try to get a hook out of them. I ain't got no problem with them just existing. But I don't want to risk getting bitten trying to get a hook out. Boy, he was clamped down though, wasn't he? He wasn't wanting to give that thing up until we pulled him up and he took a look at you. He said you all had bad breath and he was getting the heck out of here. He couldn't stand to smell it. But yeah, y'all, I don't know what I'm gonna do about this bike. Normally, what I've been doing is I throw these bikes on at the end of it, and what I had planned to do for this bike, had everything worked out, I was going to throw it on the end of my Hoover tournament video. And, you know, because that's an edited video, and just throw it on the end there, racing around the yard with Daphne. But timing as such, it just didn't work out. And so I don't typically like making a just bicycle video without it being a part of a fishing video, because y'all tune in my fishing channel here for fishing, right? Don't give a damn about no bikes no more than what I do. I mean, they're fun. I like riding around the yard and chasing Daphne and stuff. We play on that one we kept, the Frigo bike. We play on it every day. Like, that's how I run the energy out of Daphne. Like, we do multiple, usually at least once a day, I'll run her about 2 to 3 laps around the yard. Sometimes when she's super energetic, sometimes we got to go out there twice and do it. And that's in addition to the other playing that we do. Like, she's a very high energy dog, and I enjoy riding it around. Like, it's fun. But, you know, I'm not super into the details. I'm not I can't tell you a damn thing about the bikes. I know how to put them together now. I've done so many, like I don't even have to look at the instruction manual. I can open up that box and have that bike together in 10 minutes. Like, I've done so many. But y'all don't tune in to see that, so I don't like posting a dedicated standalone bike video, because it's just not gonna, y'all don't care about it. It's not good for my channel to post a video that I know is not gonna get a lot of views. And honestly, it's not good for the company that sent me the bike either, because, you know, they're wanting to get, the reason they send these bikes to Daphne is because of you all. You all are mostly men, and it's just, this is the demographic that watches my videos. Most of you are men aged 24 to, or 25 to 34, 24 to 35, or 25 to 34. Whatever that demographic is, mid-20s to mid-30s, y'all my number 1 viewers, right? Followed there by like 35 to 44, or 34 to 55, 45. Bottom line, mid-20s to mid-40s is the biggest audience, biggest demographic of people that watches my videos. Over 90% are men. So the people, you look at the people who are going to buy electric bikes, who's going to buy electric bikes? Adult men, 25 to 44. Like, that's their customer base. So that's why they want to send these bikes and get them on video. But the people tuning in, those of you that are clicking on my video, expecting fishing videos. So I don't like doing a standalone bicycle video. But I may have to do one for this, because it's just such a weird situation that they want me to follow through with this. And listen, I'm a man of my word. You know, I signed that contract saying I will complete this video. I will do it. But I'm also true to my word too, is what I've told you and what I told them. Like, I'm not going to lie. If I have a problem with something, I'm not going to hide that from you all. And so I don't know how this situation, I've rambled on about this for too damn long. I don't know how it's going to turn out. This is very fascinating. The person I'm dealing with at this company is not very bright, I'll tell you that. They should have taken me up on the offer to just cancel the contract, take the bike back. Like that was their out right there. And I got a feeling they're going to regret it. But they want me to do it, I'm going to do it. Assuming they get the damn thing working. They've all been, the wiring's the same on all of them, and like everything seems okay. Oh, here's our cut bait. Now this one's pulling. This one's pulling right here. This one's not a turtle. Our cut bait goes down. What do we have? I think it's a blue. I felt him rolling. Or it could be a channel, I guess. Oh, and he come free. What do we do here? We get it on that side. He had it. He did not have the hook, apparently. Well, y'all botched another one. Good job. I blame y'all for that too. That definitely wasn't a turtle though. I felt him roll. So I would assume it was maybe a smaller blue. It's encouraging, man. That's very encouraging. I know it's not encouraging for y'all to lose another fish, embarrass yourselves like you have, but it's encouraging to me from the two cats that we've caught, plus that, like, there's some fish working up in here, or they're already in here and spawning and stuff. So they come out of that nest, we got an easy meal here for them. Places like this side of the creek where you got a little depth and you've got them big trees, all them root systems and stuff, like, I imagine as the water flows, I mean, it's obviously, this is a low flowing creek, but when we have rain, heavy rain, you do get more significant flow. I bet it's washed out around the roots and stuff over there on that bank. It's probably created little crevices that fish can work up in there and make a nest. And we're should be at the tail end of the spawn here in East Tennessee now. Daniel from Catfish Sumo and I fished, when we fished 2 days ago. Y'all won't see a video from that trip. We didn't do any good. We caught, I think between us, maybe 5 or 6 fish. They were all just tiny things. So I wasn't gonna fool with subjecting you all to that. He was distracted too. It wasn't the best conversation on video because he had him one of those AquaView, I think they're called, cameras. It's a camera and it's got like a TV set screen, and you can drop it down, your camera on a cord down under you. And he was trying to watch fish that we wasn't catching. He was trying to watch them eat his baits, and he was distracted. Him being distracted was distracting me. It just wasn't a good, if we'd got our 5 or 6 fish and we'd had some good stories and conversation going, I'd have felt okay with posting the video, but it was just a clunky type of day. I wasn't on my game, he wasn't on his, and I wasn't gonna subject y'all to it. Some days you got it and some days you don't, folks. We didn't have it that day. Nothing was really going right, but the fishing just wasn't very good either. And it's just, this time of year gets a little tough. Sometimes you can get numbers, sometimes you luck into big fish, but once we get off the spawn, the better quality fish will start coming more frequently. We'll catch fish beat up, you know. They'll be all marked up all the way through August, because there'll be some of them fish that went on the nest late. And so they'll be coming off later on, but the bite will get better, it'll get easier. But I think there's a good chance that there's still some on the nest here, possibly in this creek. And I'd like to hook into one if it's possible. I don't want to hook into any more turtles though. I don't know why I'm standing up right now. I'm gonna sit back down and take a load off. We'll kick back, relax. Y'all can, so if we can adjust the camera so you can see them rods. This one behind us, we probably need to reel in soon and put some more pack bait on it. It ain't had nothing messing, to my knowledge, ain't had nothing messing with it. I don't think we have, you know what, I don't think we have rebaited that since the current shifted. Let's just go ahead and do that. Yeah, well, our worm's still on there, and we still had some packed bait and corn in the feeder. So I guess it was okay. I'll feel better about it. Stick some of this pack bait on. Oh, I know what I was going to tell you too about the pack bait situation. So I've had numerous people tell me to try out some soybean meal in place of the panko. Apparently, buffalo really like the soybean meal. And I had looked it up. I've had people tell me, like, go to the co-op and the feed stores and Asian markets and yada, yada, yada. I have not been able to find any soybean meal locally. I've been co-op, Tractor Supply, Rural King, like none of these places have it. But I'd found a place online. Throw that back out there. I'd found a place online. You could buy a 50-pound bag. It was like 30 bucks, and shipping was $30. And so, you're paying as much in shipping as you are for the soybean meal itself, but nevertheless, 50 pounds for 60-something dollars there, 61, 67, something like that. Oh, our line, look right here, our line, I see it swimming. He was swimming with it. Oh, I think he's got me in something over there. Nope. He's out of it. Whatever he was in, he's out. Oh, no. Well, we've drawn in some channel cats today. Y'all can have all these channel cats now. We've got more catfish than we have carp today. How is that possible? I know, channel cat, you don't count either. You ain't counting toward our fish total today. We don't count your kind around here. Get on out of here. Some people like you. The bigger channel cats up on Sandusky Bay, those are actually fun to catch. I will admit, they get up 30 plus inches, they're a little bit more fun. We just don't get them that big down here. So anyway, soybean meal. I've got it. It's been delivered. I'd already mixed this up though, this panko mix. So at some point in the near future, we're going to try that stuff out. We'll see how it does for us, see how it compares to the panko mix here that we've been using forever. This has kind of been the tried and true pack bait mix for me. It works. So I've stuck with it. But we got 50 pounds of bean meal now, so we're going to try it out. Where's my dang worms at? There they are. So yeah, we're going to try it out and see how it goes. One thing about it, I think it's probably, even paying the extra money, with the shipping, it's probably going to work out to be cheaper than the panko when it's all said and done. So assuming it works, and carp don't seem to be too discriminatory on what they're going to eat. Like, they eat pretty much anything, it seems like. Buffalo are very particular about what they eat, at least in my experience. Like, they're a lot harder to. Oh, I threw that a little too far to the right there. We may end up regretting that. Hopefully we didn't throw it in something over there. So yeah, we're going to try it. I'm looking forward to it just to see if we get some more buffalo. And I assume, I haven't opened the bag, it's a 50-pound bag. I assume it's gonna be able to keep for a long time, like it's, as long as you keep it dry, I assume. I got it in the house. So hopefully it'll last a long time, because we're not gonna go through all 50 pounds of it. Not this year. As late into summer here as we are, we're not gonna go through all that this year, I don't think. So I probably won't be mixing up, but a couple pounds at a time, maybe 3 pounds at a time. But I hope it does the same, you know, the same. And I may have to play around with the mixture of corn and all that to get it to where it'll pack properly. But I hope it's effective. At least as effective as people say. Yeah, I just couldn't find any locally. Everybody kept telling me the feed stores will have it, and I'm like, man, I've checked them all. Like, nobody carries it. I don't know if it's like a specialty thing, and there just isn't demand for it here. Like, I don't know. But I got some now. We're gonna try it. It's all we can do is try. The worms, though, has definitely been, that's helped me a lot with the buffalo. Like, most of the buffalo I've caught, just, and not just recently, but just historically on these carp trips, has been with when I've used worms. Now, I don't use worms all the time. I've been using them lately, but, you know, the trips that I've used them, it seems like I get more buffalo. So I think there's something to that. So I definitely want to keep trying the worms. But if we can do some kind of like soybean meal, for instance, and use an attractant, hopefully, you know, something's going to attract the buffalo along with the worms. A lot of people, and this seems to be kind of the sentiment I've gotten from carp fishermen. You know, I don't know any carp fishermen personally, because nobody around here fishes for carp. But just in the comment box, the sentiment seems to be that buffalo are unwelcome bycatches while carp fishing, at least from the hardcore carp people. I guess they view buffalo like I view channel cats when I'm catfishing. But personally, if I had my choice today, if you said, Justin, you're gonna hook you can either have your choice. You can have a trophy class carp or a trophy class buffalo today. Take your pick. I'm gonna pick the buffalo. Now, I know the fight's not gonna be as good, because the buffalo they just don't fight that hard compared to a carp. Hell, most fish don't fight that hard compared to a carp. But I just think they're cool. And so if you gave me the option, one or the other today, I could have either one. I'm gonna pick the buffalo. So I won't fit in with carp. I don't fit in with any group of fishermen really, except for the handful of you misfits that watch these videos and come on these trips with me here. I think we're our own little group of fishermen, the cat fishermen of the world. I don't fit in with them. The carp fishermen of the world, I definitely don't fit in with them. I can't stand bass fishermen. Crappie fishermen hate me. It's just, we got our own little group here in these videos, that's it. We just do our own thing. But I like me them buffalo. I don't care if they don't fight that hard. They want to fight you when you land them, though. They want to flop around and act crazy as all get out as soon as you get them in the net and get them in. But that biggest one I caught, and this was, I think, in 2022, I think it was 2 years ago, I caught a big buffalo. I mean, he was like probably double the size of my previous best buffalo before that. Now, I got him on a worm, and it was in a creek. It was probably fishing maybe 3 foot deep, summertime. And at first I remember when I was reeling him in, I got the video on my channel. I think I even said it on the video. I'm like, man, this is a channel cat or something. Like, he's barely fighting. And then I got him close and I saw him and I was like, oh, holy crap, that's a huge fish. But even the big ones, they just don't fight hard. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's something to do with their body size, their makeup. I don't know. But you look at them, well, you put a buffalo side by side next to a carp, you can visually see the difference in them, right? A buffalo, and carp, they're different species of fish. But their body sizes and their body types are comparable to each other. But for whatever reason, the carp are just incredibly hard fighters, whereas the buffalo, not so much. And, you know, carp too, here's the other thing about carp, not only do they fight hard, but they don't quit. Like, they just keep going and going and going and going. Whereas buffalo, you know, they're just not going to fight at all until you get them up in that net. Oh, or cut bait. Has he got it? Or is he just tugging on it? Hold on. He's come up here in the shallows, buddy. Is this another turtle? I think this is a turtle. Y'all are breaking my hearts with these turtles. That's a 10-aught size circle hook. I mean, it shouldn't be. These turtles, they're gonna have to kind of they're gonna have to have some bad luck to get that hook in such a way that it actually hooks them. If it's the same snapping turtle that had it before, wouldn't that be something? It don't take turtles long though, man. You throw out a piece of cut bait, them turtles are on it quick. Let's see what we got here. I see he does not have the hook. I don't think. Nope, he didn't. He was just clamped on. I don't know what kind of turtle it was. I didn't see him that well. But it was another one that was had bitten down on the bait. You can see where he had it right there. That white bass, it's a tough bait. One of the best features of white bass, in my opinion, is it is very difficult for not only turtles, but catfish too, to rip it off the hook. Like, they can get down there and chew on it, they can mess it up. But to just rip it off the hook, that's hard. So at least we've got it back. I think we've probably still got that head bait hanging off the bottom of our kayak, if I'm guessing. It'd be something if I get back to the car today and I see that thing there. I would like to have my leader back. Got everything back out again. We just ain't getting the carp bites today. Well, we got 2 carp and they're both in the cooler. I think that's been it. This is a big difference from, you know, the last trip out here where, I mean, I got several. It was weird. I was using, today our worms are live. I got some new worms, but them worms were dead on the last trip. They had stunk up my refrigerator. I guess they got too hot in my car. I took them out. They were in my car. I'd went and had lunch with, I'd had lunch with Daniel. One day him and I had fished together. Left them worms in my car while him and I ate. I guess they got too hot in there. Anyway, they died. They stunk up my fridge. But them carp was all over the dead worms, man. But the live worms, they don't seem to be too interested thus far. I say that, now we got this rod right here getting hit. He's got it. And he don't. He tugged on it. Did he get our worm? He did not. Okay. Got a refund on that worm too. I was just talking about them damn carp. And that one was like, I'll show you, Justin. They're probably afraid I'm gonna keep them at this point. Word's out. Their friends never come home. And so they're all down there just panicking, looking for their two friends. They got their pictures there on the milk car. I don't know what kind of milk carp drink. I don't know if it's like whole milk, 2%, almond milk, soy milk. But on the side of the milk carton down there, they got the picture of them two carp that's in our cooler. They've been abducted. And they're all worried about them, I guess. Can't blame them. They've been friends with each other forever down there. Now I've disrupted their friend group. Need me some bait though, folks. It's hard times right now. Hard times for the skipjack. I just ain't got back on them. Seeing them. They're still eating them little tiny shad fry. And I have a hard time catching them when it's like that. They're incredibly difficult to get because they're locked in on that size. Even throwing the gulp, it's just sometimes tough to get them to eat. So we're gonna try them carp. It'll take me half the afternoon to cut them up. Well, I'll just end up taking some fillets off of them is what I'll end up doing, but we're gonna try it out there. Next video, if things go well, you'll be seeing them carp catch us some catfish. If things don't go well, who knows what the next video will be. Could be anything, whatever I'm in the mood for. But I definitely want to get some catfishing done tomorrow. Main channel, ledges, that summertime pattern. I like in the summertime, you know, and you can catch, the summertime the bite's pretty active for catfish. Just water temp's warm, metabolism's high, especially as they're coming off the nest. All these fish are real skinny, they're hungry, they're wanting to feed up. You can catch fish a lot of places. But boy, the ledge bite though. You get on the main channel ledge, you get down in them deep holes. Like that's a pretty good bite, pretty consistent bite. That's what I'm gonna try to do tomorrow. I don't know if I'm gonna drift. It'll depend on if I know I probably won't have much current in the morning, if any. But I don't know if I want to suspend baits tomorrow or if I want to maybe drag a couple and suspend. I guess it'll depend probably on what kayak I don't know exactly where I'm going to go yet. I got several places I kind of want to hit. So if I go somewhere that's going to be a little bit of a run, I'll take this kayak. So I got the motor. And that would allow me 4 rod holders. So I could potentially either suspend 4 or drag 2, suspend 2. If I end up going somewhere that's a shorter distance run from the launch, I'll probably take my other kayak, my pedal kayak. So in that situation, I'll probably just suspend a couple. Either way, we're gonna put that carp to use tomorrow, and you may be seeing them again in the next video. Maybe. If things go well. If I can get the damn things cut. I'm telling you, man, if you ain't never cut a carp, big carp, the small ones, no problem. The big ones, man, you got all them scales, it's like you need a chainsaw to get through them things. Like, it is very difficult. That's why people ask me all the time, Justin, you're out there carp fishing, why don't you keep some, use them for catfish bait? That's why I just hate cutting the things up. They're just such a pain to cut up. You know, when you look at the size of the carp, like them carp there, I don't know how big they are, what, 3 or 4 pounds probably? You ain't gonna get that much meat. You know, I'm gonna take the fillets there, but like you ain't gonna get much. You're not gonna get, you take a 3 pound skipjack, you know, I can cut that thing. I'm gonna get probably 3 pound skipjack. I'm gonna get 4 baits, 5 baits off that, and they're gonna be thick, meaty chunks. That carp, man, I'm gonna get 3 or 4 baits, and they're gonna be paper thin. And the heads on them carp there are too big to use for bait. You know, like one of my favorite baits are the head baits of any fish, whether it's skipjack, white bass, shad, whatever. You know, whatever I'm using, I like those head baits. But the carp, I mean, those carp baits right there, they're so big, man. You would need you'd need a 50, 60 pound cat to be able to eat one of them heads. Which is doable, but, you know, it's just hooking them, hooking the head bait, hooking the fish, assuming you can get one to eat it, like I'd like them a little bit smaller. I'd like to get a carp with, you know, it's a head about the size of my palm right there. But you just don't catch the carp that small. I don't think I've ever caught a carp that small on rod and reel, ever. Any of them on rod and reel, they're always 3, 4 pounds minimum. The only times I ever get small ones, if I'm just accidental, you get them in the cast net. And that's something else I really don't enjoy doing, is throwing the cast net, because you just get covered in water. You get soaking wet. Kayak ends up being just a mess. And this time of year, in the summer months, I don't really like using shad for bait. Like you can use shad and catch fish, but I get bigger fish, better quality fish on skipjack and white bass in the summer. Shad's more of a wintertime bait for me. I like it when it's cold. When water temp's in the 40s, low 50s, that's when shad really performs well for me. This time of year, I just don't, you know, I get numbers of fish with it, but I don't really get quality, so I rarely ever go out and throw a net this time of year. Unless times are just really hard for skipjack. There was another carp that come up right there jumping. Like, they're around. They're just not, they're just not eating my rigs today. But yeah, this time of year, I just don't like shad all that much, so I don't throw the net much this time of year, and therefore I don't get those bycatches like carp and suckers and stuff like that. I want to catch a fish, y'all. We're just we're having a time out here today. We've got some fish, but I feel like we're getting we've got as many turtle bites as we have carp bites. I mean, we're throwing out cut bait today because I wanted to see if we could hook a big cat in here. But I was in the mood to catch me some carp and buffalo. That's what brought me in here to this creek today. We got several fish the last time I was here. I'm like, I want some more of that. But they just ain't here. They just ain't biting right now. to this point. We've seen some of them. They've come up splashing and whatnot, but ain't getting the bites right now. Got plenty of time though before that sun gets over them trees. Once it gets over them trees, I don't care if they biting or not, my bite's gone. I think I mentioned that in the last trip out here, but it's a pretty good run for me to get up here. I got about 40, 45 minutes to get back to the car, so it's it's one of them things you got to give yourself a little extra time to get back. And by the time it gets hot here where we're at, and I gotta get back to the car again, like I'll be over it. I love catching fish. I love it more when it's comfortable temperatures. My love is, that's why the same thing I tell Daphne the dog all the time. I'm like, I love you, dog, but my love is conditional, so behave. She's back to being pretty good again. We had a, I don't know, 2 or 3 week stretch where she was just, she regressed badly. And I don't know, maybe that's part of the puppy stage, still, because she's still, how old she is now, 2.5, I guess. But she was doing real good for a while, and then she started getting out and running off and not coming home, and just, and then peed in the house one night, and just, we were having behavioral issues again. Now, I don't know what caused it, but she's been good again. We're on a little stretch here of good behavior. I'll take it. Any stretch of good behavior I can get out of that dog, I'll take it. She got her a squirrel again the other day too. It's the second squirrel she's got. She likes to chase them. They sit there, and the squirrels, I think, what's a loud woodpecker? Did y'all hear that on the microphone? Either that or it's the Predator. You remember that movie, 80s movie, The Predator? He made a sound similar to a woodpecker. If the Predator gets us out here, he's got us, man. There ain't no calling for help. Arnold Schwarzenegger ain't gonna come save us out here. But these squirrels, they come to my bird feeder. They'll climb up on my porch, take a flying leap over the bird feeder. And sometimes I'll have my front door open, and Daphne lays there, because my door opens and then there's a glass door. Daphne will lay there at that glass door and look out, and she watches them squirrels, and I think they purposely torment her. And so every so often I'll go over there, she'll get a little antsy and start whining, and I'll know there's a squirrel out there on the porch or beside the porch. I'll run over there, open that door, and she'll, boom, she's out that door running, man. She's full speed after them squirrels. And she finally got one. It's been a few weeks ago. She got one. And I guess she played with it a little too hard, or when she snatched it, maybe it was a little too rough, and she killed the thing. And I felt bad about it. I honestly felt bad about it. And so I thought, I don't like these squirrels coming to the bird feeders because they tear everything up. They literally chew through the bird feeders. Like, they'll chew through the plastic. And I got a squirrel-proof bird feeder, and it don't work worth the crap. And my little suet feeders, they'll knock them things off. I've tried the hot pepper blend suet blocks. Them squirrels don't give a crap. They'll eat it, hot pepper and all. They don't care. Nothing has worked. And so after I felt bad about Daphne getting one of them, I decided to offer a peace treaty. And so I went to the store and I got one of them. It looks like a little miniature picnic table, and you nail it to a tree, and it's got a screw, like a 3-inch screw going through the middle of the table, and you put dried out ears of corn on there. And them squirrels will eat the corn. And I thought, I'm gonna put it down there in that big oak tree that they always run to. And maybe if I'm feeding them down there, they'll leave the bird feeders alone. Well, guess what? They eat the corn and then they still come to the bird feeders and mess them up. And I said, you know what, squirrels, I've given you all the sympathy I'm gonna give you. I've offered you a peace treaty, you've spit in my face, and so I'm done with you. So from now on, if Daphne gets you, I ain't gonna feel the least bit bad about it. Well, I've been letting her, you know, she'll lay there at that door and watch them. I'll run over, open it, she bolts out. She's gotten close a lot. She's a smart dog, but woodpecker's loud. She's learned, instead of chasing the squirrel directly, go for the tree, because that's where they're going. So she cuts them off. Well, what the squirrels have been doing lately to get away from her is, I guess they realize they're not going to make it to the tree. So they divert and go toward another tree. Daphne then turns, and then they loop back, because their quick turn movements are quicker than Daphne can turn. And they end up making it back to the tree. I think she will eventually learn when they turn, she needs to turn but not go full speed. That way when they turn back, they'd be running into her. I think she'll figure that out eventually. But anyway, the other day, I let her out the door and the squirrel turned left when it should have turned right, and Daphne got it. And just like the other one, I didn't think she had it that hard. Like, she got it and it fought its way free and she got it again. And then she just dropped it and she was sniffing around and licking it and stuff. But like, by the time I got out there and took a look at it, it was dead. So I went and got a shovel and I threw it over the fence. I figured the buzzards or my neighbor girl's cats would probably get it. What's up there in the woods? Is that a deer? I can see it barely going through the, oh, I see that all right. That deer distracted us. Something tugged on our line right there. It's gone now. That deer distracted us. That deer tried to help that fish out. He made a run on it. Danged old deer. So anyway, Daphne got her another squirrel, y'all. And I didn't feel the least bit bad about it either. I said, Daphne, I need you to get about 6 more of them. I want her to get the one with big balls, because I think he's populating the whole forest. I think I told this story in one of these videos, but there's a squirrel. My line went slack right here. Did you see that? My line just fell back to me. It's sitting there now, something hit it, knocked slack in him, and I don't know that he's got it. I don't want to set the hook on air again. Y'all done embarrassed yourself one time before today. I don't want you doing that again. We'll see if that line moves. It's starting to kind of tighten up again, I feel like. I wonder if that ain't maybe, you think it could be potentially a fish sitting there with it? You know, them buffalo bite funny like that sometimes. The line's jumping around a little bit there. Something's near that. If he ain't got it, he's at least near it. I don't want to mess with it right now. 1, I don't want to embarrass myself again. 2, I don't want to pick up on that rod and spook him, because we obviously got one over there that's interested. I'm impatient though. I want to just see if he's on. There's the woodpecker. Man, he's loud. If there's any birds or animals out here sleeping in today. That woodpecker's done woke them up. I don't think there's anything on this line. He ain't moving more. I'm gonna just tighten up a little bit. Surely by now he'd have moved if he's still on it. Something definitely hit our line though. Maybe there's just a fish eating the breadcrumbs, pack bait and stuff. I don't think anything's been messing with our back line. I was looking back and there was a fish right there. It was a carp. There are carp in this creek. Literally just seen that one. You think we should take a worm off one of these rigs? And just have the plastic corn out there? You know what? Something's after that line. I saw that fish jump. Rod tips, unless it's just me moving in the kayak potentially. Could be. Maybe we're about to get bit back there. I was turned around just to look at that line, make sure it was tight, and then I saw that fish jump up. Maybe I'm imagining that rod moving. Maybe it was me moving. Woodpecker's up there. Old Woody's up there laughing at us. I just wonder, maybe we shouldn't take a worm off one of them carp rigs. Just leave out the plastic corn. Last time I was using one rod with the dead worms, and I had 2 rods with the cherry tomatoes. I should have brought some cherry tomatoes with us today. Now my line just went slack right there. Did you see that? It went slack. Has he got it and it's coming at us potentially? The line's still going slack. Now it's going tight. He's got it. We got one. I don't know what he is. I hope it ain't another dang catfish. Oh no. It's a turtle. Let's see what we got. Is it a snapper or a slider? If it's a slider, we'll help him out. If it's a snapper, his shell's so dirty I can't tell. I think it's a slider. Yeah, it's a slider. Dadgummit. What are you doing down there? Well, when we cast this one back out, we're not gonna put a worm when we cast back out. We're gonna try that out. Maybe these carp got something against the worms today. I hope that's a slider. His shell's covered in mud. You can't really see what he is. I don't want to get bit. Where's your hook at there, turtle? He's hissing at me. Can I see it? I can't see it. Oh, he's ate it kind of deep right there, y'all. No, maybe not. Here's one thing I gotta do. You lay right there, turtle. I gotta get y'all out of my way. I'm trying to stare over this dang camera and I can't see nothing. Y'all just admire my hat here. Kayak Catfish hat available at catfishsumo.com. Y'all admire it while I try to get this hook out. Try to pull that worm out there. I think I may be able to get this potentially. I don't want to try pulling out a hook that's too deep. There we go. Got it. Got our pink corn back too. How about that? All right. It's your lucky day, turtle. I thought it was deeper than what it is. You want to tell people hi? Can I hold you up here? Tell these people how lucky you are that you got that hook out. You need to take a bath. Look at his shell, man. It is covered in mud. You need a bath in a bad way, fish. Or turtle. Oh, I'm calling you fish. All right, go on. We could have kept him in here. Be a mascot for us. Y'all, we got more turtles than we do fish today, man. This creek just ain't, as airplane man flies over, this creek just ain't getting it done today. Lord, y'all have got some, I don't know how yous have gotten stuff on the, there we go. Yeah, so far, man, we're just, the turtles have been stealing the show out here. 2 carp, 2 carp, 2 channel cats, a blue cat, and turtles. When I send this one back out though, we're gonna let's just hold off on a worm. I don't know that it'll make a difference, but we'll see. I may maybe put a kernel or 2 of corn on the hook itself. Some of this corn's kind of dried out where I'd left it. Left it setting. Okay, let's send that back out. All right, we got your line back out. At least on this rig, we probably won't have any more issues with turtles, I wouldn't think. I mean, you still get them occasionally, but most of the time you're gonna get a turtle. It's when you're using a worm or a piece of cut bait. Yeah, it's been a weird morning usually. You know, it's like I said, sometimes it takes a while to get the bite going. But once you get fish feeding, and we've got enough flow that our scent, is we've put out enough, we've cast our baits out enough. Like our scent is going down this creek, so hopefully there's some fish that are gonna work through here and find it. We've certainly seen them jumping a little bit. Just can't get them to eat. Maybe it's a time of year where they're just feeding on something in this creek, like they're kind of like the skipjack eating those little shad fry, them little tiny, I call them glass minnows. You can almost see through them, but just a little shad fry. Maybe it's like that today with the carp too or something. Maybe they're just keyed in on something and not interested in what we're throwing out. I don't know. What I do know is y'all ain't catching very many fish to this point in the day. Best get your act together. I ain't bringing yous out here to not catch fish. Well, I get some good quality fish too. I got standards, y'all. I want to catch a lot of fish and I want to catch some big ones today. We done got our little fish. We've had enough of them. Need some big ones now. And a buffalo. add that on the list too. We need to get another swig of water first. Humidity out here, man. It's, even though we're in the shade and it ain't too miserable yet, it's still humid as all get out. Here's something else interesting that some of y'all might be interested in. I saw this, I stumbled across this post. And you know me, like I've got this motor. This is a Motor Guide XI3 bow mount on this kayak, but I've tried various motors through the years. I've had a Torpedo motor. I've tried out a Bixby. Had the Old Town autopilot there with the Minn Kota with spot lock and all that. Tried out various motors. And one of the things that I've always been kind of confused about, and I can't believe Hobie hasn't already done this. So with these Hobie kayaks, you've got this slot here in the middle of the floor, your pedal drive locks into, right? Now I've got just that little cassette in there now because I'm not using the pedal drive when I've got the motor. But that Torpedo motor I had, like it was made, it would drop down in that slot. And it was very convenient. And for the longest time, I've been confused as to why Hobie wouldn't make a motor to go down in that hole, specifically a motor that would have your GPS functions, your spot lock, course heading, all that. Kind of like Old Town did with their autopilot. They just took a Minn Kota motor, made a mount for it, and then had that mount, had the opening there in the kayak to put, like it was just, it just seems like common sense with the direction the kayak fishing community has gone the last few years. It makes sense for Hobie to make a motor for their kayaks. But they've dug their heels in, you know, with these pedal drives. And I saw one the other day. It's called an island hopper. And I've heard of these motors before. They're real cheap motors that go down in the cassette drive. But now they're making one with a Minn Kota. They've taken a Minn Kota motor with all the GPS functions, shortened the shaft down, and made it to where it will sit down in that Mirage drive slot. And I thought, boy, that's got potential right there. That's interesting. I had seen a post about it on social media, and I went to their website, and their website honestly is, it don't look like a 2024 website. It looks more like a 1999, you know, AOL, you got mail type website, HTML site, really. I mean, it's hard to give this company much credibility when their website's so bad. But anyway, they're selling those motors on there. They're like $1,600. It's, you know, kind of pricey, but I mean, really, it's not that much more expensive than if you bought the motor made for the boat, you know? So anyway, I was interested. As I get online and you know, their website there, it doesn't have any, it's got pictures, but it don't really have any videos. And of course, the pictures aren't very good because it's kind of like a HTML type site. Like, I just don't understand, like, if you're running a business in 2024, an online business, like, how do you have a site that looks that bad? So immediately I've got my doubts about this company and this motor, not through any fault of their motor, but through their website. Just like, if I see a business that's doing such a piss poor job at what is honestly, let's be real, it's the most important part of their job. You know, you can make the best product in the world. If you don't have a way to sell it, you're not going to stay in business. So you got to have a functioning website, something that's able to sell the product. That's number one. The fact that they've botched that doesn't give me much faith in the product itself. But anyway, I get on YouTube and I type in like Island Hopper, Hobie Spot Lock, you know. I can't find any videos of anybody actually using this thing. And I thought, well, surely, I mean, they're testing this thing out. Like, they didn't get the finished product on day one. Like, there's got to be some videos on there. Like, if they're doing something that nobody else has done. They have made a spot lock capable motor that will fit in the Hobie Mirage Drive slot. Like, people have wanted that for years. Like, this was a home run product. How do you not have any videos? I could not find a single video. So I go back to the HTML website, and it's got a contact thing. And so I type out a message like, hey, I'm interested in your motor. I think it's great what you're doing. Do you have any videos or any better social media pictures where I can see how this thing fits in and how it operates? And they responded back fairly quickly. It was a few hours after I sent the message, and they said, all they said was, no, we don't currently have any other pictures or videos, but we do have some pictures there on our website. And so again, I'm like, how am I supposed to take you seriously when you don't have any, like, you've had to have had this thing out on the water. You've had to have, to test it out. I don't care if it's in your backyard swimming pool. You've put it down in the kayak, you've tested it. Like, take some video and show me how that thing sits. I want to see, you know, how far the motor sits below the Mirage Drive, how easy it is to get in and out of the Mirage Drive slot. You know, how high is it? I want to see somebody sitting in the kayak from this angle. I want to see how much space, like how the head of the motor, like how far is it coming this way? You know, I want to see these things. You want to see them before you drop down 1,600 on something. They don't have any of that stuff. So it's hard for me to take them seriously. But it's interesting to see it, and you know, it's a third party type company that has made this. It's not like Hobie themselves, which again, why isn't Hobie doing something like that? You know, like that's the most mind-boggling thing, is like they should have their own version of that. So I'm not going to get one at the present time. I'd be interested in it, but I want to see some things, like actual real world people using it, real world conditions. And I want to know, because it's a Minn Kota power drive, I want to make sure it's not one of those power drives that has the GPS sounds, like the Old Town Autopilot. That's why I got rid of the Old Town Autopilot. It was just so annoying with the sound. It was every time you would be in a GPS function, whether it was spot lock or your course heading, whatever, the motor made like a like a Morse code sound constantly. It would drive you insane. Drove me insane, drove y'all insane too. I had a bunch of people complaining about it because the microphone was picking it up. And so with this motor that they're making for the Hobie Mirage Drive slots, with it being a Minn Kota also, I want to make sure before I would ever risk plunking down that kind of money, like I want to know it's not one of the old models that makes that Morse code sound. So it just seems stupid to me. Like, how are you selling a product in 2024 and you've got virtually no pictures, no videos, and your website is like HTML? I mean, it's just, I just can't take it seriously. I think we got this stick up here getting in our line. Oh, can we get around it? in and let that thing pass. Hopefully it don't get in our other line. Yeah, we got a stick here. Maybe this time, we're definitely going to put a worm back on this. I think this time though, I'm going to put instead of putting a whole night crawler on, let's put a piece of one. Give it a little bit smaller profile potentially. You know what might be a good opportunity for us to do too? Switch out the cut bait rod, throw it over on this side, and throw our carp rig up a little bit more shallow, I guess you'd say. A little bit to the left. Maybe we'll do that. Scissors head. I'm gonna take a worm here and just cut him. Well, that worm right there ain't very big anyway. That's one of them baby Canadian night crawlers. They charged us full price for these things, and I feel like we've gotten a little bit gypped here now, paying for adults and getting the babies. You know, typically, I mean, if you went to an amusement park, you don't pay as much for a kid as you do an adult, right? Like, ticket prices are different. Well, it'll be the same way with worms. Like, if you're getting a worm that's half the size of a full-grown worm, you ought to pay half the price. Yeah, we need to reel this in anyway, because that stick that's floating down the creek right now is going to get in our line. There we go, we got over it. I think we should switch out our bait too here while we got it reeled in. Let's go ahead and switch it out too. Maybe by the time we get this thing, we'll throw that right over there and feed them turtles. Maybe the turtles will go there after that, and they'll leave us alone here on the other one. Maybe by the time we get it cut up though, and that stick that's floating down through there will be gone, and we can cast out like normal again. I want to put on a head bait too. Get hold of one here. There we go. I'll tell you folks, we put them 2 carp there in the cooler. We got bit right away. We put them 2 carp in the cooler, and when they didn't go home, it ruined our carp fishing. All them other carp said, Justin, if you ain't throwing us back, we ain't playing with you. This has been, I had the first couple 3 carp trips of the year, I did very poorly. But since then, since we got on into warmer water temperatures, you know, my first few trips of the year, early spring. But once we got into spring and now summer, like, I've been having a good run with the carp. Like, they've been a pretty consistent bite for me everywhere I've been. But today, just either, we're just not tempting them today. At least not yet. Yeah, I think we're just going to flip these two bait positions here. I'm going to throw this one. Throw that one over there. It might make it more challenging. If we get a carp on this rod, which will be here, it might make it more challenging to land them without a tangle. Because undoubtedly that carp's probably going to want to swim toward the deeper water. But we'll try to make it work. All right, here goes this one. I threw that one further to the right than I wanted to. It's okay. I damn near threw them both in the same place. We can't set the hook right today. We can't cast today. We just can't do nothing right today. But, by gosh, we got us a couple carp there in the cooler. We at least got us something to, between that and the white bass that I got left, we got enough for a catfish trip tomorrow. We'll make it work. Yeah, the kayak motor situation, I just keep waiting on somebody to come out with something that's more suited for what we need. The Torqeedo's been the main company that's made kayak motors forever, but they're not very good quality. And you know, I had that one and I liked it. But I had 4 warranty claims in 2 years, so I just couldn't keep the thing running. And there's another company called Newport Vessels, and they make it's essentially a knockoff of a Torqeedo, and I haven't tried theirs, and theirs may be better. But I was hesitant to try theirs because I had such a lousy experience with Torqeedo with the warranty claims. I'm like, man, if I can't keep the original product running, what good's the knockoff going to be? So I haven't tried the Newport Vessels. It may be better. But aside from it, like, there's really not a lot of options. You can put a bow mount on just about any kayak now. That one I have up there is the Motor Guide XI3 kayak, quote, quote, kayak motor. The only thing different about the kayak motor versus one of the regular bow mounts for the boats is just the shaft length. Like, you still got all the weight. You know, it's just a 36-inch shaft instead of a longer shaft for boats. So it's really not, it's just a way for them to charge more money. This day and time, you stamp the word kayak on anything, you charge 25% more. That's just how it is. So, yeah, there's just not good options. We need some lighter weight motors with GPS functions. I know that's asking a lot, but I have to believe the technology is there to be able to get it. It's just a matter of somebody taking the chance. And I guess the business is down in the kayak industry. A lot of the companies have pulled back. They've pulled back their marketing budgets. Some of them aren't traveling to the shows right now. All that, and just, I think they mismanaged it during COVID. I think, because if you remember back during COVID, when COVID first hit, there was a boom in the outdoor sports industry across the board, not just with fishing, but all outdoor activities, camping, fishing, various sports, like everything took off. And it was because everybody was home there initially. When COVID first started, everybody was home. And they were looking for outdoor activities. People had all this free time on their hands. And so a big boom for outdoor industry. And kayak fishing really benefited during that time. I certainly benefited from it because my views on this channel went up when everybody was searching for outdoor content and kayak fishing content. I'd be the first to admit I benefited. And there was all this demand for kayaks at the time. But in the whole pandemic, yada, 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 we had supply shortages. If you remember back, like, there was all these cars sitting on car dealership lots, but they couldn't work. They didn't have any chips. The computer chips, couldn't get them. Kayak companies, same thing, like, they had all this demand, you had these people wanting kayaks, but they couldn't get the materials needed to make the kayaks. So it was hard times. So that demand carried on to following year, 2021, early 2022. These kayak companies, they were making kayaks. Once the supply chains opened up, like, they're making as kayaks as many as they can, as fast as they can. And during that time, I think they made a mistake. And the mistake was they stopped innovating. They were so busy with production and trying to catch up with the demand that existed for their current models that they stopped trying to make their current models better. They stopped innovating. So now you flash forward a couple years later here, now we're 2024. Demand has slacked off greatly because the people that were just dying to get a kayak back 2020, 21, early 22, like, they got a kayak. And because the companies, the kayak companies, were so focused on fulfilling orders and not coming out with new products or ways to improve their current products, well, now here we are, 2024, there's nothing really great out on the market, nothing really new and exciting. And sales are slacking off. And because sales are slacking off, they really can't put a lot of money. It's the chicken and the egg. They can't put a lot of money into research and development and innovation because they don't have the sales coming in. But, you know, like, why are people, you know, a lot of people, like, you know, some of my bass fishing friends, for instance, they will go out and get a new kayak every year. It may be the exact same kayak they had before. Like all my friends that are into Hobie, for instance, they go get them a new Hobie every year. This Hobie Pro Angler that I'm in today, this is a 2017 model. You know what the difference in the 2017 model and the 2024 model is? The logo on the side. And the newer ones have a retractable transducer scupper hole. So like if you got a side scan, for instance, you can pull a cord and it'll drop down so you can get a better reading. That's it. You know, it's basically the same kayak. Now, Hobie's also come out with that 360 drive in the last couple of years, but it's been let's be real, it's been a disaster because it's been nothing but problems out of that thing. But nevertheless, my bass fishing friends, they'll go get them a new kayak every year. They're tournament guys, they gotta keep up with the Joneses, they gotta show off, they gotta flex, you know how it is. The average person though, Joe Blow consumer out there, they're not gonna go buy a new kayak every year. They're gonna use their kayak until something goes wrong with it, or until such a time that something better comes along, something that they want to replace their current kayak with. Because there's not really been any innovation in the last few years, people aren't replacing They're just keeping what they have. You take my my other pedal drive kayak, the Old Town, and I love that kayak. It's probably my favorite kayak I've ever had. As far as just catching fish in it, it's fun. It's a 2021 model. What's the difference in the 2021 model versus the 2024 model? Nothing. There's nothing. It's the same kayak. Everything about it's the same. Colors, color patterns. You can pick different colors now. Now they did come out with their electric, their EPDL, they call it, which is like a electric bike style pedal drive. And I tried it. I demoed it. I didn't care for it. Now my friend Elias V Fishing, he has one. Old Town sent him one to market for them, and he actually likes it. He's the only person I've heard say positive things about it. I don't think the sales have been very good for it. I thought the drive, I had maybe my expectations were too high for it. I thought the drive felt kind of clunky. I didn't like the going from motorized to stopping it to going into reverse, like that sequence I didn't like. I didn't like, they call it cruise control. It's got different level settings you can do, like 1 through 5. They call it cruise control. I guess when I first heard cruise control, in my mind, I thought it was going to work like a car. If you're driving down the highway and you set your cruise control at 65, if you go up a hill, your motor increases power to maintain 65. You go over that hill, starts going down, your motor slows down so that you maintain that speed. That's what I think of when I hear cruise control. With the Old Town, their electric pedal drive there, it's called cruise control, but it just turns that prop at the same speed all the time. So if you move out into some current, it's not going to necessarily maintain that speed. You're going to slow down. Prop's still going to turn the same speed, but you're going to be going slower. If you're fishing in windy conditions and maybe the wind gusts for 30 seconds, you're going to slow down. It's not going to compensate. So I think part of my expectations were a little too high maybe for that, because when I heard cruise control, I'm like, yes, you can set a trolling speed and maintain it. That didn't happen, and then I tried it, and I was, oh, our left rod here. Are we about to catch another fish? Is it going to happen? Has he got it? I think we got us a catfish on here. I hope to get a catfish today on the cut bait, but they were not the target species with these corn and worm rigs. And it is a tiny, tiny, tiny channel cat. I do not like channel. This is why channel cats have a bad reputation with me. This right here. Tiny thing. You're over there eating all our pack bait, so when them carp come along, there's nothing left there, channel cat. He did, though, give us the worm back. And it's still alive. Look at that thing. They can stay alive in that water a while, apparently. We're just going to have to rehook him. He's all tore up, but we'll send him back out there. I'm going to try to cast this one more. I'd got that cast. Well, if that worm wasn't struggling before, let me drop him down there. I'm going to try to cast this one more where I wanted the last one, hopefully. Normally, if I'm fishing a big area, I like to try to cast in the same general area to keep building the chum pile up. But I think where we're at in this creek here, because it's so narrow and tight, I don't think fish are going to have any problem finding our scent. Like, it's just going to be a matter of getting them to eat it. They're not going to have trouble finding it. Okay. Well, that one went more to the left than what I wanted, but we're going to go with it. I can't cast worth I wanted to land it right there, right between where the last two casts went. That's what I wanted to do. Okay. Yeah, so anyway, the Old Town EPDL, it just wasn't for me. Like, I tried it. I just didn't like it. I don't think, I went to a demo day up in Knoxville. There were several people there trying it out. I didn't hear one person say anything good about it. Like, nobody really cared for it. Now, Elias, again, he loves it. And it really suits what he does. Because he does a lot of, he's out there in the ocean, he does a lot of jigging. So he can make a run with that kayak and just drift back. And of course, the motor built into the pedal drive, very convenient, so you can have access to both without having to mount on another motor. So it really does suit his needs. But I think just business as a whole for them probably not been very good because, well, how big a market is it for people that fish like that? Not a very big market. And the fact that it was really high priced when it came out, most expensive kayak on the market. I think it turned a lot of people off. And so I think sales were lackluster. So anyway, these companies, they didn't really innovate, and here we are a couple years later. Supply chains are open, companies are able to get stuff, but sales are come to a screeching halt, and it's a bad situation for everybody, because people like me, you know, we want innovation. We want new stuff. There's ideas that me and other kayak fishermen talk about. We'd like to see things get implemented, but companies mismanage their money, and I think they got a little too complacent, and here we are. I'm probably gonna, at some point, probably this year, probably gonna switch out of this kayak, even if I just end up getting, I don't really want to get another Hobie Pro Angler. I like the kayak, I like the layout, but I don't like it in rough water, because I take water over the bow, because the way I got all that weight up there, and then water gets in the hull. But for a lack of a better option, I may end up getting another one, unless I see something come out that I just can't live without. You know, the Jackson Take 2 was appealing. I've got a couple friends that have had those, and they've put bow mounts on, and it's got all that open floor space. But both people I know that have had that model have both had a crack in the hull in the exact same place. Once is an accident, twice is a pattern. When holes get cracked in the same place, like that's, and especially when I only know two people that's had them, and both of them have done it, like, that's a problem. So I'm not gonna be interested in that until they get that mess sorted out. Most of the kayak catfishing guys that I know are in the New Canoe Unlimited, and I like the layout of it. But, you know, New Canoes, again, it's one of those companies that's just got a bad reputation, very inconsistent in the quality of their products. And for me, like, you know, doing YouTube here full time, well, I mean, I guess you'd call it full time. These summer months here, I ain't been fishing a whole lot lately, these hot summer months, but you know what I mean? Like, when I'm doing YouTube as a job, like, I need gear that I can count on, that I can trust, that's gonna work. And I don't have any confidence in it. Based on the experience I had with the new canoe that I owned previously, and, you know, reading Facebook posts and stuff since then, like, I just don't have any confidence in the company. So it's hard for me to go that route. And so this kayak here that I'm in is pretty beat up, man. Like I said, I've patched the front. I haven't patched, I've added plastic to build back up the keel on the front there. My skeg's broken. Like, it's just, you know, this kayak, it's been used. It's been used a lot. So I'd like to probably switch out at some point this year. I just don't know what I get unless you get another Hobie. And honestly, I'm hesitant. I wouldn't buy a new Hobie, a Pro Angler. If I got one, it would be like a 2020, a 2021 model before they moved to Mexico. When Hobie moved to Mexico, their quality went to crap, man. They started having and they still have problems. Holes cracking, inconsistency in the mold. Like, it's just, when they got bought out, I guess that private equity firm, whatever, they moved the operation down to Mexico, save on cost. I think they're just making money off the Hobie name at this point. I don't think the quality's been very good. So if I bought one, I'd try to get a used one that was pre-Mexico. That's what I'd try to do. But that still ain't gonna fix my problem of needing something that's better for rough water. It's not going to take on a bunch of water inside the hull with me having the weight of the motor. The Hobie kayak itself is fine if you use it as it was intended to be used, with the pedals. If you're going to be like me and add 35, 40 pounds up front there with a motor, well, guess what? Now you're going to plow through some waves and take some waves over the bow, which are then going to get inside the hull, and you're on a real choppy day, you're going to take a lot of water. And so, there just ain't a perfect kayak for me. It's possible it could be made, but it don't currently exist. And I don't know that there's enough of a demand out there, aside from me. You know, is it going to be a situation like Old Town and their EPDL drive, where just, you know, you're catering to such a small group of people, of potential customers, that there's no money to be made at it. I don't know. If somebody could take like a similar, comparable design to the new canoe and make it thicker plastic, because that's really new canoe's problem, is just the thin plastic. The hull is thin, the sidewalls are thin, the floors warp because they're thin. That's the biggest problem. If that kayak, instead of it being 78, 80 pounds, if they would make it 100 pounds, and I know I've talked before about wanting lighter weight kayaks, and I do. I wish they would maybe experiment with maybe some different materials other than your just traditional plastic. But in this case, if you're going to work with the traditional plastic, make sure you got enough that you can have a appropriate thickness hull. But I do wish they would. That's the biggest innovation of all, aside from the lighter weight motors and all that. Like, I wish kayak companies would innovate on the side of material that they make them with. A strong, durable material that's lightweight. I'm sure it's out there. Now, it may not be cost effective, but I'm sure it exists. But I'd like to see something like that in the future. I'm still fascinated with that Hobie Lynx. Hobie made that, it's called the Hobie Lynx, and it's essentially it looks like a paddleboard, honestly. It's wide, forget how wide, like 36 inches wide maybe, but it's only maybe yay tall. It sits very low on the water. They've got a seat and a pedal drive spot. What do I want to call it? Splot for? A spot, if I get my words out. They've got it, and it's lightweight. I think it's 50 something pounds, I want to say, maybe 60 pounds with the rudder and seat and everything on. So it's significantly lighter weight, but got durability issues. People smashing them holes up very good. It's just like a thin layer of plastic around foam, basically. Or a thin layer of fiberglass, maybe it is, around foam. So, you know, it is much lighter weight, but you just don't have durability. So you're coming up on shore, you hit a rock, maybe you hit some concrete, that thing is, man, it's cracking. It's being I've seen them with dents in them, smashing in, like I'm fascinated by it. If I could take care of it, I know me, like just my normal fishing, like I would cripple that kayak, man. In no time. I know myself. And it wouldn't be like I'd be trying to be rough with it. I'm just my normal fishing, I would cripple that thing. But I'm fascinated by it because of the potential, just being able to, and it ain't even really that I would use it so much around here, like, you know, fishing locally around here, I've got access to boat ramps oftentimes. I can just back a heavy kayak like this, I just back it down the water, launch it like a boat. That's what I did today. Where it would shine for me would be like when I travel somewhere. Maybe I go to the beach, for instance. Take that thing down to the ocean, well, you know, because parking down there, I don't care where you go on the beach. Pick your beach, it don't matter. Parking is limited, especially trailer parking. So having a kayak that's light enough weight, you could throw it on top of your car, go park at the beach, handle it, pull it through the sand on the beach a lot easier. I mean, you try pulling this kayak right here through it can be done, but boy, you're gonna earn it, man. You're gonna work for it. Having something lighter weight would be awesome. Here's my concern though. Here's my concern with the Hobie Lynx and fishing with it out, how I would use it out in the ocean. I would obviously, if I took it with me, I would take it down to the Keys and I would want to try to catch some sharks. I know everybody down there hates sharks. I like sharks and I'm terrified by them, but I like them. They're fun to catch. They're incredible fighting fish. That's what I would want to use it for. My fear with using that particular model for shark fishing is because it's set so low on the water. I fear it's an accident waiting to happen. I can just, it would be something out of my nightmares seeing a shark come up onto that kayak, onto the floor of that kayak. And I'm not talking about like a shark attack per se. I'm not talking about like a shark physically attacking the kayak. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is a situation where maybe maybe you're reeling in. So this happened. I saw a video clip where this actually happened a year or two ago. I can't remember how long it's been since I've seen the clip. Guy's reeling in a fish. A bull shark comes out of nowhere and just plows the side of his kayak. He wasn't trying to attack the kayak. He was coming after the fish that was being reeled in. But I mean, it nailed it, like it popped it, the side of that kayak. Now, I think he was in a Hobie Outback. So, I mean, he's up off the water a little bit. The kayak's got a sidewall, like it's up. Like, so when that shark hit, it hit the side of the kayak. Had a little protection. That Hobie Lynx, because it's set so low to the water, I mean, you're talking like a couple inches above the surface. If that same situation happened with that Hobie Lynx, that shark, it wouldn't have hit the side of the kayak because it wouldn't have been there to hit. Like, it would have just kept going. Probably knocked him out. I could see it knocking the seat loose and go right across the dang thing. You know, and again, it wouldn't be like the shark was trying to attack the guy or, you know, whoever's in the kayak. It wouldn't be that situation at all. It would be coming after the fish. But instead of hitting the kayak, there's nothing to stop it when it come up out of the water there. Just keep going. The other situation too is when you hook a shark, they oftentimes go crazy right there in the beginning. Like, they're going to come to the surface, they're going to thrash, like they're just out of control. If that shark happens to come at you while it's just going insane, again, not trying to attack you, just thrashing and just panicking really is what it's doing. And it come up on your Hobie Lynx there, like, boy, you're in trouble. You're in trouble real fast. I mean, you're going to end up in the water. So that's my concern with that. It's just the fact that it sets so low. I can deal without having much space in a kayak. Like, I don't carry much gear, so I don't need the storage space. The durability is a concern, but I could work around that. I could at least try to be careful with it. But boy, the thought of hooking into something and having a shark come up in my lap because I'm sitting that close to the water, like, boy, that's scary. It may be an unrealistic fear, but I don't know. You know, there was that other video too of, pretty sure it was a tiger shark. I think in Hawaii maybe. That video went viral last year, year before. A guy was kayak fishing and this tiger shark come up and it bit down on the side of his kayak. You got a hard plastic kayak like that, that's going to be scary. You're probably going to get some punctures in it maybe, but it ain't going to sink you per se. You take something like that Hobie Lynx where you got that thin layer of fiberglass and then the foam, and it's only yay thick, man. That same situation with that, but it's taking a chunk out, and it's just going to bite it in two. So, definitely a concern. I'm fascinated by it. I'm interested in it. I have been since it came out. But my hesitations is the durability and the fear factor of it has prevented me from trying it out. And that's probably what I need to do, is just get on. I don't know anybody that has one, but it'd be nice to actually get one on the water and try it out, demo it, and see how I feel on it. But it supposedly does really well. I mean, there are people using it out in the ocean. You get water comes over it, but it sheds the water really well. And certainly getting it from your car down the beach to the ocean, I mean, it would be, anything you can do to save weight is going to be huge in that situation. because it's something about dragging through sand just makes everything feel heavier. I can't explain why. I don't know if it's because you don't have solid footing, like your feet, as your feet are digging in and you're pulling something, your feet are sliding a little bit. And of course, you've got the resistance from dragging something through the sand, but everything feels heavier in the sand. And it's one of those things too, like you can buy the big pneumatic beach wheels. They're like a soft rubber that you can inflate. You can do that, and those will help a lot with towing stuff through the sand. But I personally haven't done it because, well, one, I don't go to the beach enough to justify the cost of buying a kayak cart with those tires. And the other thing too, those tires are so big. When you're traveling somewhere, they take up a ton of space. I mean, just a ton of space in your vehicle. So it's like, I just don't want to necessarily fool with that. My Old Town kayak, it is heavy in the sand, but it's light enough that it's manageable. And it's great offshore. Like it was made for the ocean. Like it's made to shed water. So I just want it all. You know what I mean? Like I want it all. I want a super lightweight kayak that's very durable with a lightweight motor that has all the GPS functions. I want it all, man. I want my cake, and I want to eat it too with sprinkles and a cherry on top. That's what I want. I want that, whatever's drifting down through there, I want it to not get on our line, but it has. We ain't getting nothing on this. We've not had a single, well, we had one run on here that I'm pretty sure was a catfish, but it's mostly been turtles and not much action at all on that cut bait. I feel like we've made a mistake with that thing. We're gonna mix things up again. I'm gonna reel in this rod behind us. We're gonna throw it out in front. We'll throw the cut bait behind us maybe. See what it can do there. Maybe we can have two carp rigs, one with the worm and one without, in front of us. This has been the worst carp trip I've had in months, y'all. Y'all along for the ride today though, by gosh. This is real world fishing, man. Channel cats, turtles, small blues, 2 small carp. This is real world fishing. I'm like, we've got some bites. Just not been as many as I wanted, and not the quality I wanted as of yet. We'll put another kernel of corn on this hook too. Some pink and some yellow on there now. All right. Well, let's take our head bait here. Let's just throw it behind us. Well, if at first you don't succeed, try and try again. That's how the saying goes, folks. I said we was going to try that bean mill out here soon, but hell, I may be going home with most of my pack bait left. The pace we're on. Maybe couple trips away, depending on when I carp fish again. Hard times out here today, but it'll get better. May not get better today, but it's going to get better. I've had days where I didn't even get the action that we've had today. So at least we have got some fish today, even if they ain't been very big or very many. I get asked about that pretty regularly, about the getting skunked, and I do get skunked. Now, it happens more in the winter. You know, days where I just literally don't get a single fish. Like, if that's going to happen, it's usually going to happen in the winter. The bad trips that I have this time of year, summer months, are, well, like my last trip there with when I fished with Daniel. I mean, him and I combined for maybe 5 fish, 6 fish, whatever it was, and they were just all tiny. For the, however long, I don't know how long him and I fished. It's about 5 hours. I think we started fishing about 6 and got done about 11-ish, so about 5 hours. So basically one small fish an hour. You know, and that was a bad trip. And of course out here today, I don't know how many fish we've got now. 2 carp, 3 channel cats, blue cat. So, you know, a few bites. You know, we got more bites per hour out here today, although it's been a while since we've got a fish. But, you know, this is of course, coming out here, I had higher expectations for both size of fish and number of fish. But on a catfish trip, like, I'm probably not going to get skunked this time of year very often. It's just, it'll happen occasionally, but especially if I'm putting in some time to it, like, I'm gonna get a bite. But it's the winter time where if you're just in the wrong place, the wrong time, nothing, man. You just get completely skunked. Like, that's when that's gonna happen usually. I do get asked about that quite a bit though. I was trying to come up with a way, and in Catfish Sumo and I, we had partnered up, I think it's been about 2 years ago now. Did something hit that line right there? Maybe I imagined it. But Catfish Sumo and I had partnered up, I think it's been 2 years ago now, and we created a master class, which was, the hope of that master class would be, I mean, there's nothing new and revolutionary in that class that y'all haven't seen or heard in my videos before, but what we were trying to do with it was condense the information. If a person wanted what little bit of knowledge is in my brain, and it probably don't seem like much with the fish we've caught today, but if you wanted that knowledge, you would have to sift through hundreds of hours of videos on YouTube. And what we wanted to do with that master class was kind of condense everything, put everything in one location. So if a person was interested in learning about reading a contour map, well, they click on this tab and there's that section. If you want to know about bait and rigs and all that, well, click on this tab. Here's that section. And you can very quickly and easily get to the information that you were looking for. But I feel like, and we've got really positive feedback on that class and people who's took it. But I feel like a lot of the questions I get, and I think it's more so in the summertime, because I think you get a lot more casual catfishermen this time of year than you do maybe in the fall or winter months, etc. But you get a lot more comments about people just trying to figure out where can they catch catfish at right now. Like right now today, where could you go? Oh, we got a fish. We finally, y'all, it's about daggone time. We switched them rigs around and there we are hooked up. I don't know what he is, but I'm happy with anything at this point, except a channel cat or a snapping turtle. I don't think it's gonna be either one of those. I think we might have a carp finally. This was on the pink fake corn, and I'd put, I think, 2 pieces of actual corn kernels on the hook. Boy, he's a hitting it and a getting it over there. He's, whatever he is, he's dark. It must be a carp. Maybe we've made amends with these fish now and they're willing to bite again. This is a dark fish. This is a really dark fish, whatever he is. What is this? It's a carp. Man, I want you to look at this thing. Where's my net? I want to get this one. I want you to look at this fish. Like, this is a unique color carp. Holy cow. This thing, folks, check this out. Like, he is super dark. He's almost brown. Both sides, I mean, his belly, like everything about this fish is significantly darker. This is a very unique color. Fish, you're not super big, but I'm gonna hold you up and give you a little front camera time just because I want to get a picture with you. I mean, look at the coloration on him. Here, let me set you up here. Take a picture of me and this fish, would you? Hell, I ain't been able to get you to do nothing all day. You just want rebait hooks. You've set the hook on air before on this trip here. Like, it's a little bit crazy how you have acted today. And I wanna get a picture of this thing. Oh, calm it down. Calm it down, fish. You're taking a picture of me whether you want to or not now. Oh, quit. Quit. Okay. Check. Oh, our camera's crooked. Hold on, Carp. Hold on. Okay. Let's try that again. Look at that, man. Look at the colors on him. I mean, he's dark all the way down. I can't flip him over here to show you his belly, but his belly's dark too. Man. That is a weird looking fish. I mean, it's a common carp. He's just really dark. I don't know if it's just natural like that or if, I wouldn't think he would just be in, I don't think the sun. I mean, sometimes, oh, did you see that? That was our cut bait. Something tugged on it over there. I think he let it go. Something tugged on that line. But you know, sun, if catfish are up in the sun, they'll get a darker color. I think this one here is probably just like this all the time because carp are in the sun a lot and we don't see them like this. Well, you're pretty cool, Carp. I'm gonna let him go. It was nice to get a bite again, if nothing else. It has been a while between bites. But that one ate the rig that didn't have the worm, so maybe that's something to it. I've had people comment and say that they were surprised that I've been catching carp with the worms. And you know, I don't know. I've caught so many carp with worms now. I haven't really thought much about it. Like, it just seems like something that they eat, but maybe it's just one of them bites that kind of happens some of the time and not all of the time. And you know, and I imagine carp are like any other fish species. It's good to offer variety if you can. So either way, we got another bite. We got another bite. It was a really cool fish. It got me excited again because I was ready to catch another fish. Put maybe 2 of these dried out corn kernels on that hook. Don't need to do that per se, but we're going to. And then I'm going to check our piece of cut bait. Okay. Put that out. Yeah, whatever ate this head bait, it's gone. But it hit it pretty hard. I don't think that was a turtle. It might have been a gar, possibly. I don't think a turtle wouldn't have been able to run that fast with it. I don't remember what I was talking about now. Ain't no telling. At least now we can talk about catching a fish again. Yeah, some days it's just like that, man. I don't know what's different about today versus the last time we were in here. Now, I will say this. The last time I was in here a few days ago, the water was a little bit higher. It's still kind of muddy in here today, though. So conditions-wise, I don't really know what's different. Now, if you're gonna carp fish regularly, one of the things you can do. Look right here. That rod's already, something was tugging on it just then. Something gave it a little tug. I did not imagine that. That wasn't the kayak moving to bend the rod like that. Go now. But you know, one of the things you can do is bait an area. Now this area up here, it's so far away from where I launch at, like it's just not convenient for me to bait an area. And honestly, baiting is it's effective. I've done it before. It's an effective thing to do. Get them feeding in an area and then you go and fish there. But boy, it's kind of a pain, you know, to go out a few days in advance and get them feeding in an area. Like it's a pain to do that. But you know, if you really want to ensure success, like if you want to, maybe you're taking a kid or your wife or girlfriend and you want to make sure that they catch fish. Like if you'll go out and throw out some horse feed or cattle cubes, dog food, whatever you got, go throw that out, corn, whatever. Throw that out a few days in advance, get them feeding. I've done it a day before, 48 hours before. Like I've run experiments. I got videos on the channel doing it. It helps. But it's not really all that, I don't think it's really all that efficient for me to do that. Being that I'm in a kayak, everything takes longer as far as traveling spot to spot on the water and everything. And you take a place like this where I've got to make such a long run. from where I launched at, like it's just, it's a pain to do it regularly. It's just not realistic to do it all the time. But you can bait an area though with, like I said, horse feed, cattle cubes, and you can get that stuff. Like the Tractor Supply near me, like it has that stuff. It doesn't have the soybean meal, but it has those type of things. And you can get a 50-pound bag of cattle cubes like $15, or a 50-pound bag of sweet feed, horse feed there. You can get it for, I think it's $11.99. Last time I bought some. So you take you out some 5-gallon buckets, dump that out there in an area. I tried, so last year or year before, when I was playing around with baiting areas, I'd tried a mesh bag, like sinking a mesh bag full of feed. And the damn turtles, man, they chewed through the bags. The bags had all holes in them and stuff. Now, my friend Dewey, he had talked about getting a burlap sack. And, you know, it's a little bit more durable and turtles can't chew through it as easily. But, you know, where do you get a burlap sack big enough these days to put as much feed as you'd want to in there? And then, too, it's like, you know, you're kind of, I don't know. I mean, you're kind of, what are you going to do with that burlap? You going to leave it there? You going to take a nasty burlap sack home with you when you're done? Like, you know, you're either littering or you got a mess to deal with when you're done. So for me, if I was going to bait an area, I'd just rather go out. What I've done in the past is go out and 5-gallon bucket, throw out feed in an area, and go, oh, there we go again. Oh boy, oh, he come off. Well, folks, we lost that fish, but that's another one there that bit very quickly and bit the rig that don't have the worm. You know what I kind of want to do now? I kind of want to reel in the rig with the worm on it and cast it back out without a worm on it. Could it be that this has held us back all morning long using the worms? So here's what happened a few weeks ago. I was using worms, and I got on the best buffalo, at least numbers-wise, bite that I had ever been on. I caught several buffalo over the course of the morning. Well, I caught so many that I ran out of worms. I only had one tub of worms with me. So I ran out. Well, ran out of worms, I stopped catching buffalo. But then I started catching carp. As soon as I got rid of the worms, the carp started hitting. Now, since then, I mean, I've caught a bunch of carp. I've caught a bunch of carp with the worms. So I haven't thought much about it. But here we are today, we've been using worm rigs, and we can't buy a fish other than an occasional pesky channel cat. Now, I throw out a rig over here in the deeper part of this creek without the worm, and now we catch a carp, and we just had another run that y'all somehow missed. So I'm thinking we just reel this thing in, take the worm off. It's for no more longer than we're going to fish out here. We might as well just go for it today, man. I want to catch some more fish if we can. I'm probably going to fish another hour maybe. Probably ain't got that much battery life left, truth be told. I want to see what we can get here. Lord knows we got plenty of pack bait. Probably take this with me. Sometimes I'll just dump out pack bait I got left if I don't have very much, but as much as we got here with us left, I'll probably take it with me. And it'll get a little, I'll leave it in my car. Yeah, it may get a little moldy or something, but the fish never really seem to care if it's got mold on it or not. They don't seem to bother them none. If it's got a little penicillin on it, it might help them keep from getting an infection with the hook marks that I'm going to leave in them. Cast that one down a little bit further there. Get that log, a little small. I hope it don't get in our line. Well, folks, business picked up here again. We sat here for the longest time, couldn't get anything happening. We catch the carp, we have our cut bait get hit while I'm holding up, trying to get y'all to take a picture. And then we just had another run. Interesting. I don't claim to be an expert at this, folks. I don't claim to be an expert at all. I'm just a guy that likes to go have fun. I knew today we could have us some shade in this awful heat. We'd had success here recently. I really hope that we could maybe get a big cat on that piece of cut bait. Knowing what I know now, I wish we hadn't brought it. I wish we'd just done the 3 carp rods to start. I don't know if it would have caught us any more fish or not, but hindsight's always 20/20, as the saying goes. Everybody's got eagle eye vision looking into the past. I'm suddenly feeling a little bit more optimistic here. I've said before though, man, I just like fishing places like this. These little backwater secluded areas, I mean, it's peaceful back here, it's relaxing. There's oftentimes some big fish. I mean, I know we're talking about carp, which a lot of you don't respect, but there's still, I mean, the size of the fish that are in these creeks. You get a 10, 15 plus pound fish in an area this narrow, like that's pretty fun. It's exciting. Carp runs are always exciting anyway. Just because, I mean, they always nail it. Lines stripping there. Anytime that drag starts peeling, like, it's just exciting because you don't know till you pick up on it what you got. You got to keep the drags a little bit loose. Carp fishing, because the hooks are small and with their mouths being small, if you got your drag locked down, they'll just rip that hook right out. And so until you pick up on the fish and kind of tighten down a little bit, you really don't know how big a fish it is that you're dealing with. So there's that excitement, that anticipation, like it lasts a little longer than it does when you, let's say I'm catfishing, maybe I'm suspending baits and I see a fish hit my bait. Oftentimes I can tell when I'm suspend fishing for catfish, because my drags are really tight, I can watch that fish hit my bait, my rod, and I can tell pretty quickly whether or not it's got any size to it or not, just from the takedown. When the carp hits and starts running, you don't know. You don't know until you pick up on it and tighten down a little bit and get a feel for him, how big he's going to be. So it's kind of, I guess a comparable analogy would be when you're catfishing, let's say you're bank fishing and you got your bait clickers on for catfish and you hear your clicker start zzz, until you run over there and crank down on him and feel that fish, you don't know. You don't know, it could be 5 pounds, could be 50 pounds, could be bigger, you don't know. So you get that adrenaline rush, it just lasts a little longer. But with that said, I really don't like using clickers for catfish. I like the excitement of it when it starts zinging, but my hookup ratio really, really poor. I'm far better off locking the rod down, engaging the reel, locking the drag down, and setting in the rod holder. Because usually when I'm bank fishing, I don't bank fish just to bank fish. Like I always use my kayak to access the spot. So I can put rods in the rod holders like we have here, but just be up on the bank. So there's really no reason to use the clickers when you get right down to it, because I can just have the reels engaged and let the rod load up, let the fish hook himself. But when I have tried the clickers in the past, like I don't know the exact percentage, but it's low. I mean, it's probably 50% maybe, whether I'm gonna hook the fish. And part of that is probably small fish too, driving down the percentage. Like small fish maybe pick up your bait, not have the hook. Kind of like that turtle that we reeled up earlier where he was just clamped down on the bait. I've had fish, I've literally had catfish that I have fought all the way to the surface, right beside the kayak, and watched them let go because they never had the hook. Like they were just clamped down on the edge of the bait. And so I would imagine when you're bank fishing and you're getting them runs and you pick up on it and you lose the fish, like I imagine a lot of that is probably small fish that never had the hook. But when something goes wrong, like what are you gonna blame? Are you gonna blame yourself? Are you gonna blame the bait clicker? Me personally, I'm always looking for somebody to blame. So I'm gonna blame the bait clicker in that situation. Just like out here today, everything that's went wrong, I blame you. You're my fishing partners. It was your idea to come here today, where there's clearly not as many fish here. Y'all told me to bring this cut bait, which has not worked out. Y'all set the hook on air earlier. We thought there was a fish there. You thought there was. You got the line wrapped around the front of the kayak earlier. We had to break that off. Like y'all have had some problems today. I gotta find a better fishing partner. I need somebody competent out here. None of this stuff's been my fault. None of it. Now that we've established that, we can work on fixing you. I want to catch me another fish though. Usually when I want to go out, if like say I wake up in the morning and I just want to catch a bunch of fish, that's usually when I go ultralight fishing. Because I know I can take my ultralight rod and some gulp and go out there and catch a bunch of fish, whether it's usually bluegill, but oftentimes bass or whatever. I'm gonna get a bunch of fish. Catfishing, so there's days I catch fish, I catch a bunch of fish, but usually I'm expecting more quality over quantity. Carp is kind of a happy medium. These carp trips, obviously you catch some big fish, especially on the tackle I use with these Catfish Sumo chopstick rods here, the original chopstick. Like they're a lighter weight catfish rod, so a 10-pound carp is going to put a huge bend in that rod. Like it's fun. But it's a happy medium usually between getting larger fish and getting good numbers of fish. Because usually carp trips, you get a creek like one of these here. In these warm summer months, they're oftentimes just full of fish. And so you can have your cake and eat it too. You get a good number of fish, and you also get some good sized fish. My phone has been buzzing over here. Who the hell keeps trying to get in touch with me? Oh, it's emails. UPS has apparently been to my house. I don't know why I'll tell you what I ordered. Why the hell they sent this UPS, I don't know. So on this camera I'm using, I'm running a DJI camera today because it won't, the GoPros overheat, especially in these summer months. So when I'm doing a trip like today where the camera's running continuously, the GoPro's useless to me. So I'm running DJI camera today, and I've ordered a wind muff. Now the wind muff is unnecessary today when I'm using a microphone. But if I'm fishing with somebody, I have to make a choice. Right now, the way technology works right now, I have to make a choice if I'm fishing with somebody. I either have to choose the microphone or the battery pack. Like right now, I can have both because I'm running one microphone. So I can plug my battery pack into the USB port of the camera, and the microphone connects via Bluetooth. I can have both. If you hook two microphones up, so you can have one on you and one on whoever else I got with me, I'm forced to use the adapter that goes into the USB port. Can't do them both via Bluetooth. So if I plug in the microphone adapter, then I can't have my battery pack. So then I'm switching batteries out all day. So what I want to do is I've bought this thing, and it looks like a piece of foam, and it fits around the camera, helps block the wind. Now, on my GoPro, and I'll show you how I done. I got my GoPro in my camera bag here. But you take my GoPro here, I put pieces of fur on the microphone ports, like tape it around there, and that helps a lot with the wind. You still get some wind noise on really windy days, but it's better than just having those microphone areas exposed to the wind. Like, that helps a lot. This DJI thing I've got, I forget, it's some China company that makes it. I forget what brand it is. But it's a piece of foam, and it fits around the whole camera on the DJI. It just leaves like the lens open there. Now you couldn't do, they make them for GoPro too, but I imagine it would be a disaster because it would hold in the heat, which they already overheat all the time anyway. But anyway, I'm gonna try that. And so what I want from it is when I have somebody with me in the future, I can run my battery pack and just use the stock microphone from the camera and hopefully not get like wind noise on there and stuff. That's what I'm hoping for. We'll see how it works out. We'll have to test it. But that's the goal with it. But anyway, it's a piece of foam yay big. Why the hell they ship that UPS, I don't know. But I got it on Amazon. I got Amazon Prime, so like it didn't cost me a dime in shipping. It probably cost them more money to ship the thing than what they got, because it was only a few dollars to buy it. So they probably lost money on that transaction. That's a big ice cold glass of not my problem though. They're the ones that offered the free shipping on an item that costs a few dollars and weighs virtually nothing, and they chose to send it UPS. I had gotten to a point, for a while I was buying most of the stuff that I would get on Amazon. Like, it was kind of just convenient, buy it there, have it shipped to the house. But I was thinking just the other day, like, I really haven't bought a lot of stuff on Amazon this year. I mean, not enough to justify buying Amazon Prime. But I decided I'm going to keep the Amazon Prime subscription because football season will be starting up here in a couple months, and that Thursday night game, you got to have Amazon Prime to be able to watch. So that in itself, I guess, is kind of worth the Prime membership. But I ain't been taking advantage of the free shipping stuff lately. And you know what else changed during when COVID was going on? If you remember back, Amazon was offering 1 and 2 day shipping on pretty much everything. And during the pandemic, they were prioritizing essential goods, they called it, or whatever. There was some fancy wording they used. And it was basically a way that they got around shipping stuff so quickly. They were delaying shipments on normal items and prioritizing the essential goods, if you will. Well, supply chain issues, again, we talked about this earlier with the kayak stuff, like those issues have resolved. Why is Amazon still drag-assing on shipping? Like this camera thing, I ordered it last week. And it's just now, the 1 and 2 day shipping is pretty much gone. They never came back. And that was one of those perks that you got with paying for the Prime membership. And so, and another thing that was a perk was the TV shows and movies and stuff on Prime, like it was included with your membership. Well, now you get on there and you watch a show or a movie, you got to sit through commercials. They put commercials, even though you're paying the subscription there for the Prime, you got to watch commercials too. Like for instance, one of the things that I splurge on is a YouTube Premium subscription. And what that does is you pay, I think it's after taxes and fees, it's like $15 and change every month. But now when I get on YouTube, I don't have to sit through any commercials. Like it just, the video plays and goes on to the next one, and the next one you don't have any commercial breaks. Worth it for me, I think. You know, I ain't telling anybody how to spend their money. I ain't trying to be a salesman for YouTube or anything. But if you're somebody that hates the commercials and you watch a lot of YouTube, well, for 15 bucks, you never have to see another commercial again. Unless a bicycle company sends me a functioning bike and I race Daphne around the yard, that's kind of a commercial. But the commercials that YouTube itself puts in, you can avoid those. $15 a month. So I splurge and I do that. But Amazon, I forget what it is. What is it, $119 a year, I think? I pay mine on a yearly. Seems like it was $99 and went to $119, or maybe it was $119 and then went to $139. A year or so ago, they raised the price of it and reduced services. So we're not getting the 1 and 2 day shipping anymore. We got commercials on the TV shows, and I was like, you know, I just don't think I need Amazon Prime anymore. But then I remembered football. I was like, I don't want to give up watching. The Thursday night games usually aren't any good, but it's usually what I watch on Thursday nights in the fall. Like that's what I watch. I watch football all the time in the fall. Monday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, like that's what I'm watching is football, so hate to give that up. So I guess the fact that you can get football on Thursday nights with Amazon and the handful of orders that I have done with them this year, I guess it's worthwhile. I guess. There's not too many things this day and time where I complete the transaction and feel like I got my money's worth. Most things now are just like, I'm paying what for, oh, here we go. And he dropped it. Or did he? Yep. We had one hit it. Hit it and spit it. Hit it and quit it. Tap it and scrap it. Got my hopes up, man. Got my hopes up for diddly-poo reason. Even though today hasn't been as productive as probably what either one of us would have liked, certainly not as productive as I would have liked, I've still enjoyed the morning out here. sitting out here in this creek, sunrise to, you know, it's just now getting hot. Like I've enjoyed it. I enjoy doing this. I'll tell you all stories of Daphne the dog and my air-conditioned debacle on a Sunday. I enjoy doing this. If we were out here fishing from like noon to 4 or something, I would not be enjoying it because it would be miserable hot. It would have that sun beating down on us. I don't know that we'd catch any less fish from noon to 4 than what we've caught here this morning, but I feel like we've seen, especially early on, I was seeing carp splashing, coming up and hitting the surface and stuff. They were in here. They just were not eating what we had out. So I'll have to dwell on that on the long commute back to the car. But I think they were here. I think they were probably here in good numbers. And the fish we got right away happened very quickly after me getting set up and getting the baits out. So I don't think it was an issue of like spooking fish coming up through here. I don't think that played a factor because we got bit too quickly. I don't know. Today's one of those trips where I'm going to go home and really think about, like, should I post this video or not? You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of, because I mean, I want these trips, these are unedited trips. Like, I want them to be real. And what all of this mess that's happened out here today, it's totally been real. The turtles, the line mishaps, the missed fish, lost fish, like that's been real. But at the same time too, I want them to be trips that will hopefully be enjoyable to watch from a fish catching perspective. Of course, with all the bloopers and crap, I don't know, maybe that's enjoyable to watch in itself. I always enjoy other people's misfortune. That tells you everything you need to know about me. If somebody else is struggling, or I saw this video yesterday, I laughed so hard. It's the same thing that happened to me. This guy, he had launched his kayak and he stepped over the tongue of his trailer, and when he put his weight down on that leg, like he just lost his footing because the ramp was so slick, and he plowed that concrete and slid all the way down the ramp. And I'm like, that's the exact same thing that happened to me back at our tournament there on Nickajack. I stepped out on that concrete and my feet's up in the air, and I smacked the concrete and slid all the way down in the water. I didn't have the camera going at the time, unfortunately. It would have been YouTube gold if I had, but I saw that video of that other guy. I'm like, that's exactly what happened to me. I laughed. And he hit the concrete hard too. Now, I still laughed. I thought it was hysterical. I'm gonna laugh at other people's misfortunes. So maybe people have laughed at me today. Maybe it's been an enjoyable trip. I don't know. I never know what's enjoyable and what ain't. All I can do is just put this stuff out there in the universe, and whatever happens, happens. If I was still doing edited videos, like, you know, highlight stuff, this trip would have not have made it. That's for sure. But a day like today, we're just raw and uncut, like literally raw and uncut. Like it may make it, you may be seeing this today. If you're seeing it, I obviously decided to post it. For better or worse, I've decided. And I have had people say that I should post other videos that I've scrapped before. Now, one of my channel members was like, Justin, instead of your bad trips, like my trip with Daniel there, we got them like 5 or 6 small catfish in 5 hours. Like, post that on your channel member video section there. And so, I mean, there are people that want it. So, I don't know. But I've enjoyed it either way. I wish I could have enjoyed it more with more fish being caught and bigger fish. But I've enjoyed it today, nonetheless. And we got us a couple carp in the cooler. I'm gonna go home and butcher those things, trying to cut them up. But I'm gonna try to get out and catch some cats tomorrow somewhere. And you may be seeing them carp again, potentially, if things go well on the catfish trip tomorrow. Still don't know where I want to go just yet. Kind of want to make a run down to Chickamauga, see what's going on there. I ain't fished there in a while. Smarter play would be to fish local here. That way I don't, if I'm not on a good bite, then I didn't waste a bunch of time driving. But it'll be a game time decision in the morning. We'll see when I wake up, see what I'm feeling. We'll see how many baits I get. I don't know how many white bass I got left in the cooler there. We'll see how many of those I got. We'll see how many baits I get from them carp when I cut them up, and make a decision from there. I got a feeling I ought to be filming myself trying to cut them carp. That would be entertaining. It'd be a lot of cuss words, though. I already know I'm gonna say a lot of cuss words. Them things are just so hard. They are literally just bones, man. Scales and bones. I guess it's because they're mostly vegetarian. They can't put on any weight. They need to eat a hamburger or something. You get them a bologna sandwich, them carp might put on a pound or 2. The sun's hitting me, y'all. That sun has poked through the trees. It's hitting me now. Oh, we got hit on the rod too. Oh my gosh, y'all botched it again. I don't know how y'all have had such a hard time today. It's just one of them days, man. Have you ever noticed though? Well, that hellfire, that broke me off. Look at that. It broke me off. Broke it clean. Whew. Heck far, man. Have you ever noticed, I was trying to say though, and this happens with me, and I have to believe it probably happens with y'all too. You can see this pack bait in here, a lot of it's still in that coil. Yeah, I'll smack that free whenever I leave. I like to, what I do, and I got a bunch of pack bait left in there at the end of the day, when I'm ready to leave, well, hell, I'll just do it now, I'll show you. I'll do that right there. Pop that stuff out. I don't really want to do that when there's fish around, but clearly we can't catch a damn fish today regardless. I ain't even retying that thing. I'm gonna leave, that sun's hitting me now. It just, the temperature just went up about 35 degrees, it feels like, man. It just, that sun, when we were in the shade, it wasn't bad. Boy, now it's getting, I can feel it on me here. It's hot. But maybe y'all have noticed this in your own lives. It seems like when you got things going wrong, like we've had today with the line and missing fish and losing fish and whatnot, it happens in clusters. Like, you don't just have one little mishap. You have 10 on a trip. And it's like that with me all the time. Like, I'll have several trips in a row where just nothing happens. Just normal trips. And then I'll have a day like today where it's like, every time we reel in a fish, like something's happening, you know? Something's just continuously going wrong. I hope that's not just me. I hope it's y'all with those problems too. I don't know. I got to retie that rig. I'm not gonna fool with it right now though. So I'm gonna get out of here in a few minutes. That sun beating down on me now. I'm not gonna fish much longer. I could move this rod over. Hell, if I reel it in, I'm probably just gonna go to the house though. Is something messing with it right now? Maybe we can reel it in with a fish on as my stomach's growling. You hear my stomach? It's time for lunch. I gotta do that before I cut them carp up. I gotta eat me a bite. We need to set the hook on air one more time before we end this video. I'm gonna let y'all tell me, if you feel weight on that thing, I want you to set the hook. By gosh, I feel it. He's just like he's sitting there with it. I wonder if is it a turtle possibly? Here we go. Oh my gosh. Ain't nothing there. You know what, you've done that too many damn times today. Setting a hook on something that ain't there. You know what I think it's time to do, folks? I think it's time to go to the house. I've had my fill of it today. I can't keep a fish on. I can't get them to eat the hook. We do, y'all find a way to lose it. It's just been that kind of day. It's getting hot. I got a 45-minute run back to the car, so I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go home, eat. I'm gonna try to cut these carp up, get them on some more ice. I'll put them in a bag, the pieces, put them in a bag, pack that in ice in my cooler. But yeah, we just had some misfortune out here today. It's been a good day regardless. We got that one cool looking carp, but what a day. It's been a weird day. One of them days, y'all, one of them days. If you're seeing this video and you're one of the few that stuck around to the end, where are we at on this? You've stuck around a long time, by gosh. You've stuck around about longer than what my camera battery can do. Well, give me some feedback in the comment box if you've done it. Let me know, am I the only person that has these cluster events where I just goof up numerous times on a trip? Because I mean, it never happens where I just have like one little goof up. If I'm going to mess something up, it's going to happen 10 times over the course of the day. And it ain't just confined to fishing either. I wouldn't be surprised if I go home today and some more crazy stuff happens. That's how it always goes. Anyway, y'all, I'm gonna reel in our cut bait here. I'm getting the heck out of here. I'm going to the house. We'll try to do better the next. Hopefully the next video will be some catfish, and hopefully it'll go a little bit more smoother than today. I'll see you then.